What's up, my dudes? What's up, my dudes? Hey, guys. How y'all living? How y'all chilling? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Welcome to stream, my dudes. Oh, wait. Is that still on? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, good. Welcome to stream. It is Tuesday, May 12th. We're here for our usual debate-oramas. Today's probably gonna be the last day of this current board. I'm gonna do some tweaks after today, most likely. 219-327-8005 is the number. We have Winnie currently standing by to screen. So if you guys want to join in the fun, that's the number. Topics are the Iran war is unjustified, trans men and women are men and women, gender affirming care for minors, capitalism is failing, MAGA is uneducated, and systemic racism / white privilege is real. So if you want to debate any of those topics, yo, hit up, you know? What are you guys up to? How's your night? It's crazy because January was 5 months long. Yo, true. True. Did not know you had a theme song. Yeah, I got a theme song. Who wants to see the theme song again? Raise your hand. Sure, I'll hit you out with the theme song one more time. Here you go. Tune in most days of the week, and he'll be there schooling some ignorant creep or catch him on a gaming whim. But this ain't a game to him. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. So join Jovan and get your critical cap on. There's a Bradley's baddie inside of me and you. Hey.
Well, let's see what type of debates we can get today. (219-327-8005). That's the number for folks that want to debate. Remember, tomorrow night is our theist board featuring the Atheist Bros, me, Blitz, and Dalton. So that'll be tomorrow's stream. Friday we have the Garden of Banban playthrough / roast, where I'm just gonna be essentially talking shit about the game for however long it takes me to play them. Topic 3 is straight up criminal. Only if you're stupid, it is. If you're not stupid, it's not. Yeah. The Atheist Avengers. That's what I'm going to call us. That's what I'm going to call us. Who wants to Photoshop me, Dalton, and Blitz as Avengers? Wit, thank you for the super chat. Said, has anyone listened to Yeehaw by Brian Andrews yet? It's fire. Haven't listened to actually good country music in so long. I don't tend to go with country music. Happy Taco Tuesday. Is it white people taco night already? I hope that one caller from yesterday calls back. Which one? Dude, my voice is tired, apparently. What's your favorite debates / interaction you've had on this platform? I don't know. When I debated my brother, it was kind of funny. Oh, it's leftist country music. Okay. I like when last night on Skep Talk, when Forrest talked about Mexican pizza and Blitz had no clue what he was talking about. Is there a leftist music artist you recommend, Jovan? Oh, I don't listen to music like that. No, Doomsday, you probably shouldn't recommend that debate either. Remember the Q-Top debate? No, Q-Top wasn't do your homework. That was J-Man. Q-Top was much stupider. Q-Top was actually probably one of the dumbest people I've ever spoken to. No, Q-Top really believes the shit he spews. Oh, well, Fnatic has asked me to set up a debate with him, so I'll probably be debating Fnatic here in the future. I don't know if it'll be on here and on the line and then streamed here as well. I don't know how we're going to do it yet. Q-Top doesn't debate. He performs. Watch a Q-Top debate and tell me that man is not just performing. I should get my dad to call in? Yes, you should. I would love to talk to your dad. You miss Rob? Why? Doesn't Rob still YouTube? What was his YouTube name again? Does anyone remember? It was Valiant something. Can't find it. Does the line have Twitch? No. RC is annoying because RC was always like too arrogant for how stupid he was. Used to be on TikTok to ever debate come across Christy. Yeah, I was supposed to debate Christy like 2 years ago and she never showed up. So, which anime would you defend if you were a contestant on Ratioed? Anohana would have been my pick. I don't know why you guys engage with the trolls in the chat. Someone's being screened right now, so we'll see what we get soon. Oh yeah, Anohana is the best anime. Hands down. Dude, I'm finally getting my hair cut on Friday. God damn, I've let this shit. Look how much I've let this shit grow out. Not my locks. Like my locks I'm not gonna cut. But look at just like the sides of my hair because the locks like hang over, I haven't cut it in a while. And that shit is just getting long. And I hate it. And it's getting hot out, so I need to cut it. Jovan and Jimmy rating the line yesterday was funny. Yeah, a lot of people said it wasn't, and those people are boring. You guys are boring. If you said that wasn't funny, have some joy in your life. That was fucking hilarious. Get some joy. Is your brother right wing? No, he's just uber Christian. I mean, he could be right wing. I have no idea, but he's fucking hella Christian. It's fucking crazy. I need your opinion on Code Geass. I don't think I've ever actually watched it. Why do people hate on Jimmy so much? To be fair, Jimmy deserves the hate like 8 times out of 10. New poll, is Jimmy insufferable? Jimmy's one of my best friends, and yes, he's insufferable. Yeah, 100%. Y'all gotta get them likes up if you want people to join the live. I don't know why them likes are so low right now on YouTube. Thanks for reminding me of my civic duty. You got it. We're just chilling, dude. I want to get some debates. I want like the first call to be a debate. We have an office hours call on the thing, but I'm going to wait a little bit on that one until we get a debate. Wonder if Euro's going to stalk the stream again. He wants to get embarrassed so bad. MAGA people, if you ain't gonna call like the video, so one of your warriors will. Who do you think is the best MAGA warrior? Like, who's the best MAGA has? Telling you, Euro's channel's not got as much play as when he was dealing with me and Jimmy. And now that me and Jimmy are ignoring him, he's like, no, I need them. I like how Nick Shirley's now going around like, I escaped Cuba. They let you go. That's not really escaping, right? They say go home. I don't even think Tucker Carlson was that good. Charlie Gurgle was crazy. I'm currently watching people be screened, and then I'll decide once these people get screened whose call I want to take first. You should debate the pickle jar that destroyed Andrew Wilson. That's so funny. I would never debate Andrew Wilson personally. I can't debate fucking fence sitters like him. He's a debate pervert. I need him to pick a side. God damn. So annoying when people won't pick a side. Jordan Peterson's the same way. He like doesn't pick sides, and that's how they always win debates. They don't actually state an affirmative and hold to that affirmative. It's a bit lazy. Debate Urka Kirk. Would you debate Destiny on communism? Probably not. Not a real big Destiny fan. Would you ever host a debate with Tashika? I don't know. Ain't Tashika got controversy right now? I don't know what it is. I don't pay attention to fucking shit. Whatever it is, don't start talking about it in chat. I don't care. Personally. I just want to see all these calls get screened, and then we'll take someone. Hear about communism? I don't, because they don't know what communism is. They're bringing up Stalin. I wish the Joe Vaga stream was available on the VOD channel. Maybe I'll post it. I still have it somewhere. It's saved somewhere. Did you ever give us a room tour? Most of the shelves have nothing on. There's the door. Deaf Piglet, thank you for the super chats. Spell iCup. That's crazy. No, you have to tell them spell iCup and then say funny colors. That's the... There we go. All right, great. Finally. All right, we're going to take our first caller today. Coming up is Casey. Casey from Texas is calling to talk about topic number 3, gender affirming care for minors. Casey, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
40, just man.
Man's not a pronoun.
Yeah, he, him, I suppose.
There you go. All right, Casey, you are calling in to talk about gender affirming care for minors. All right, before we begin, let me just tell you my stance on this. So I support gender affirming care for minors because I believe it has been shown to help reduce distress and improve well-being when done under medical supervision. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
So there's not been a lot of long-term studies on this whatsoever, correct?
How long is long-term?
Long-term, at least a decade after puberty.
Okay, so then incorrect.
Okay, what studies?
So levels of satisfaction and regret with gender affirming medical care in adolescence is a 10-year long study. It followed youth for up to 10 years post gender affirming care.
What study?
I just told you. Levels of satisfaction and regret with gender affirming medical care in adolescence was posted in 2024. What does that matter?
Well, I mean,
just
like
in the study.
So the only long-term study that's been peer-reviewed, besides
this is a peer-reviewed study.
Okay, who's it by?
Olson, PhD, G.F. Robert, BA, and Natalie M. Gallagher, PhD.
Okay, so that was a response study, though, right?
Nope, this is a study. This was a survey.
So
this is a survey-based study. What are you talking about? That's still peer-reviewed.
It's a survey. It's not an actual medical study, though, right?
Wait. What are you talking about? You recognize that some medical studies are survey-based, right?
Yeah, of course.
So then I don't know why you would say that's a survey, not a medical-based study.
Because most medical-based studies actually have like trials, clinical periods.
Whoa. Wait. Are you asking for clinical trials on the treatment? Because we also have those. Are you asking for follow-ups on the treatments, which is what I'm giving you, is follow-ups on treatments? What are you asking for? It seems like you don't know what you're asking for.
The number one study that's always cited and refuted both ways is the Cass review, correct?
The Cass review isn't a study.
It literally was a study.
It's not a study. It's a review. It's a review of multiple different sources and data. The most you can say is it's like a meta-analysis, but I would even go so far as say it's not that either, because it ignored like a lot of reports and stuff that people were saying should be in there. But like if we're talking about studies,
those were the detractors. The detractors said it ignored them.
What are you asking for specifically right now? Because what I gave you is a 10-year up to 10-year follow-up. So what specifically are you looking for?
I'm not looking for anything. My assertion is contrary to yours. My assertion is that the Cass review is the only large-scale study, and that wasn't even that large.
It wasn't.
It is the largest study that's been done on the subject for long-term care, and it found that the psychological benefits were less or equal to simple therapy. It didn't have any great benefit. So to risk a child's long-term health. Yeah.
Okay. So here I want to combat a few. You're saying like a lot of incorrect things right now. First of all, you're going, well, the Cass review is the largest resource that we have on this, which is just incorrect. If we're just looking at like the amount of studies the Cass review looked at for like pubertal suppressants, they looked at 50 studies.
Yeah.
Just 50. And then hormone treatment, they looked at 53. Now there's overlapping in there, right? So they looked at about a total of 100 or so studies. But if we want to just take like puberty blockers and things like that, we have other studies that have looked at 55 plus sources on this. So again, you keep saying things, but those
the
things
55
aren't.
plus sourced ones, these aren't the long-term study results.
The CAS review is not a long-term study. You don't know what the CAS review is. That is not a long-term study.
It literally was examining the psychological effects of gender-affirming care, correct?
No. That's not all the CAS review looked at.
That was a large portion of what it was looking at, though.
No.
Correct?
No, it looked like it looked at
so what was
assessment.
The CAS review looking at?
Jesus Christ. It looked at assessment and diagnostic criteria. It looked at the effects of puberty blockers, not just mental effects. It looked at the effects of hormone therapy. It looked at mental health comorbidities. It looked at clinical pathways and safeguards. It looked at how NHS services should be restructured. I feel like you read like a page of the CAS review. And then you're going now. First and foremost, if we want to talk about the CAS review, stop. If we want to talk about the CAS review, it used incredibly weak evidence. It threw out almost anything that disagreed with its premise. Hillary Cass has come out and said that people are misusing the CAS review and then saying stuff that it does not say, specifically in that we should be banning these treatments for children. The CAS review doesn't say that. All the CAS review does is it recommends a research model to continue studying this. That's it.
Exactly. And that is what I was saying. What I'm saying is that we don't have enough long-term evidence.
Because the CAS review didn't look incorrect. The CAS review didn't look at all the evidence. The CAS, you can't make a claim. You can't make a claim we don't have enough long-term evidence when the CAS review didn't analyze all the evidence. That's just silly.
The CAS review put forth.
Holy shit.
Silly. The CAS review put forth that we don't have enough long-term evidence on this and we don't have enough history. It literally said that, hey, this is what we've had.
Yes, I'm telling you it was wrong.
We have a bit. You said the CAS review is wrong. So
Correct.
You just think that we've have plenty of evidence based on...
I don't just think. I have the evidence. I have litanies of studies that have analyzed these things, that have looked at these things, and have concluded, almost beyond a shadow of a doubt, that gender-affirming medical care, both for youth and for adults, are beneficial treatment models. And again, the CAS review agrees with this.
So you have several studies, I'm sure that you're going to be referencing, that say that this gender-affirming care, and you said almost beyond a shadow of a doubt, is, beneficial. But you don't see any kind of disparity between, say, mental health crises in pre or post-ops. You don't see...
What? Yes, we do. We see a drop in suicidality by up to 70%. What are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about. You haven't read any of this. You read the CAS review, or what you probably read a write-up on the CAS review.
I haven't read your specific studies because you haven't cited any specific studies except for the first one.
How many do you want?
How
many do you want? How many do you want?
I read. If you could email me
here, pubertal. I'm not going to email you anything. I'll say some studies. You can search them up on your own time. I'm not emailing you anything. I'm not doing your homework. Pubertal suppression for transgender youth and risk of suicide ideation. This was a study that analyzed actual suicidality and things like that, and there was a drop in suicidality amongst patients who received gender affirming medical care. We have, there's so many of them. How many do you want at this point? Mental health outcomes in transgender and non-binary youths receiving gender affirming care. That one was a cohort study that found a 73% drop in suicidality and self-harm and 60% lower odds of moderate to severe depression when doing a follow-up on patients who were getting gender affirming medical care, like young adult psychological outcomes after puberty suppression, gender reassignment. That was a longitudinal study.
That's the second one you did was the Tordoff study, correct?
The second one I did was the Tordoff study. What?
With the 73% lower.
Yes, that's the Tordoff study. Yes.
So that one was literally a 1 year.
Yes, because when we're looking at mental health follow-ups, you tend to only look within a year to 2 years. We want to know if the
Yeah,
immediate, if we have
that
somebody who has an immediate threat of suicidality, you want to look in the immediate time frame if that helped. And yes,
yeah,
after a 12-month
no,
period, that immediate help.
Yeah, that's not 12 months is a blink of an eye. You can't say that. Oh yeah, no, it's
12 months
120.
in checking on
73%.
suicidality? No, it is not. Based on what? What are you saying this based
Certainly.
on? When we're looking at suicidality, 12 months is not a
Yeah.
blink in the eye. No, it's not.
Yeah, you have, like, you can look at any kind of mental health crisis, and 12 months isn't like a crisis point. Like, oh,
Incorrect.
you're done with 12 months.
This is
you're
just
fine.
false. Again, what are you
people with
basing this
depression,
on?
You look at people with PTSD. 5-10 years later, you can suddenly, that can make you snap. It's not 12 months is nothing. Like, just to cite that study saying that, oh no, 73%, that's the number.
Yeah,
That
again,
is
what are you basing this on?
disingenuous.
This is just nonsense. What are you basing that on? Like when we're
On
looking,
suicide
when we're
rates
looking,
between
when
people
we're
with
looking,
PTSD
when we're
or
looking,
any
like let's
kind
look
of
at
mental health.
stop. Let's look at SSRIs. The typical continuation studies on SSRIs look at a 6 to 9 month period, and then they typically look like at a 1 year period. That is what's typical when we're trying to check if a medical treatment works in lowering suicidality. So when you're sitting here saying 1 year is a blink in the eye, you need to back that up with some type of medical something, and not just I feel it's not short enough, because this is the standard for looking at these things in the industry, in the medical industry. So what are you talking about?
What I'm saying, and I feel it's, pretty common knowledge, is that
I don't do common knowledge. Common knowledge means nothing
like
to me.
all these studies, that is what you mean is common knowledge.
No, it's not what I mean.
You're reading
No, it's not what I mean. No, incorrect.
Cite each study
Incorrect.
individually.
False.
Yes.
I did cite the studies. What are you talking about? Now you're just making stuff up like we haven't been recorded having this conversation. What are you talking about? I have the studies all in my source document. They're all available for everybody to open up and read. Again, when it comes to follow-ups on mental health, which you pivoted off of immediately because you had no grounding for it, you can't ground this claim you're making that 1 year is too short.
I haven't studied.
You pivoted. You immediately pivoted.
No, well, of course, because I haven't studied. I'm not exhaustive knowledge.
Okay, so then when you made the claim 1 year is too short for a follow-up for mental health, you were basing that off of nothing. So ground it. Lived experience is not, I don't use lived experience in a debate. I throw out lived experience. If you want to talk about lived experience, go talk to your therapist. This is a debate.
No.
You don't use lived experience to make an empirical claim.
But the thing is, empirical claims would be a data-driven thing. And then the only data-driven thing you have is a 12-month follow-up.
Holy shit.
And
Holy shit. No, you're not gonna do this. You're not gonna pivot right now. You're not gonna pivot. You're not gonna pivot. Either you're not gonna pivot. You're not gonna pivot. Either you're not gonna pivot. You're not gonna pivot. Either Casey, either you ground the clip. I'm muting you now because you can't shut up. Either that beep was you getting muted. You'll be unmuted in a second. The only thing I want to hear from you is you grounding the claim that 1 year is too short for a follow-up on mental health. Ground that in something. So far, you haven't grounded in anything. So if you cannot ground that claim in anything, then we're going to disregard it as a valid critique because you cannot ground it. You're going to hear a beep. The only thing I want to hear from you is a grounding of that claim. Ground it.
All right. So most reviews, when you're doing mental health, like for medication adjustments, for new therapy, for, shall we say, like any kind of adjustment to the status quo, is like pretty quick. You have like a 1 week follow-up, a 3 month follow-up, a 6 month follow-up, a 1 year follow-up. However, after that, it continues on, like throughout the entirety of
just making stuff up. Just making stuff up.
No.
Yes,
no,
you
I
are.
am not. You can
Yes,
edit,
you
you
are.
can very,
I've
okay,
literally already given you the data on this.
very,
Most
very
timelines
easily.
that we
No,
use
wait.
when we test. No,
You
I'm
muted
talking
me
now.
so that
And I'm going to mute you again.
You
I'm going to mute you again because you're lying and you're saying you're making stuff up. Most things we look at when we look at depression and suicidality are short. The FDA approval for trials on SSRIs in pediatrics only requires an 8 to 12 week follow-up. Because when we're looking at mental health, you look in the immediate, you don't look in the long term. That would be nonsense because there's no way to know if the reason why someone's depressed or suicidal in the long term has anything to do with or without the treatment. It's just correlating data. It's not causation data. The most you're going to get, like the TADS trial, was 9 months. It was 36-week long trial. You don't know what you're talking about, and you have no evidence to ground this except maybe this and possibly that and probably this and maybe that. So ground it in something. Don't just say, I'm here giving you evidence. Don't just say this is the case because it's the case. Ground it in something. I don't know how many times I have to say this. There's the beep. Now you're unmuted.
So I was trying to do the follow-up, and you immediately muted me as soon as I was getting past
No, you
1
weren't.
year.
No, you weren't.
Yep. I would.
You were giving false information.
You are.
You were giving incorrect information.
All right. So you have multiple studies that went for up to 24 months and several that went up to 2 to 3 years, up to 36 months. There's a Dutch study and there's a Finnish one that did the 2 years.
I don't know why you're talking about the Dutch study and the Finnish study, because that's not what we're talking about right now. Right now, you need to ground the claim. Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. You'll just get muted again. I don't know why you're talking. You're going to get muted again. I don't know why you're talking. You're going to get muted again.
So I can never
I don't know why you did respond, and then when I started responding, you decided, no, it's my turn again. You responded and stopped talking.
I was continuing.
And no, you weren't.
Don't know why I'm saying
no,
this.
you weren't. And I was going to elaborate on what I was saying. So I guess I have to mute you again.
I was just trying to finish
I guess I have to mute you again. I guess I have to mute you again. Your point was done. You stopped talking. So then I started talking. Right now, you are making a different claim because you can't ground the one we're focused on. Your claim is that looking at studies for suicidality and depression, they need to go longer than a year. This is contrary to the standard of practice, even used for studying SSRIs. That is the claim. And you said, no, you have to look longer than a year because a year is not long enough. And I'm asking you to ground that. So when you go back to, well, this study on trans people looked longer than a year, and this study looked longer than a year, that has nothing to do with what I'm asking you. So either you answer what I'm asking you, or I don't know what we're doing here. So I'm going to unmute you again.
So as I said,
unmuted again. Ground
those
it.
Studies were based. I'm trying to. You need to let me speak at least once.
I'd love it
both
if you spoke
studies,
something that's fact.
The Dutch and the Finnish studies, both were based on the suicidality and mental health of them.
I've never read the Dutch study.
Both of these studies both had references to it. So to say that you don't...
That's not answering the question I asked you. You still didn't answer the question I asked you. That's embarrassing.
I was saying that this study was longer for this exact reason.
It wasn't.
And showed that 78% number is complete.
It didn't.
Completely.
It didn't. Neither the Dutch study, neither the Dutch study nor the Finnish study analyzed pre and post care trans patients. So you're correlating that.
No, amongst people with gender dysphoria.
No,
2 to 3%.
You don't know what you're talking about. It's kind of embarrassing.
All right.
Truly. Now I'm going to ask the question again. How do you ground your claim? No, you just did. So I'm going to ask you the question again.
I'm just
oh my God.
because I don't.
You're going to bow out because you can't ground the claim I want you to ground. I don't know why we're doing this, Casey. I asked you to ground the claim you made. I'm asking you present some type of evidence that we need studies long. You can't do it. Goodbye. Just go. I don't know. I don't need. This is an airport. Just go. Just hang up. I don't need this. I don't. Goodbye. Fucking what? I'm gonna bow out because I can't answer a fucking question. Anytime somebody tells you that, we need to look at these suicide stuff longer than a year, it's bullshit. That's not how that has ever worked. Most analyses on suicidality focus on the first couple of weeks to months of after treatment, because that time frame is when there may show an elevated suicide ideation. That's when that's going to appear. It's just how the standard of care in doing all of these. But no, Casey says, no, it needs to be longer. Why? Well, because this study was longer. Fucking whoop-de-doo. The Finnish study has been debunked. The Dutch study has been debunked. Neither of those show what he's saying they're showing. It's fucking dumb. And then you want to get upset that I'm interrupting you. I'm interrupting you because you won't fucking ground your claim. I don't want you to go on a 20-minute tirade just to not answer the initial question I ask. It's dumb. One of the things you guys are going to notice about me when I'm doing these is that I will not let you pivot to something else. If you make a claim, you're going to fucking stick to that claim. Anyway. Trying to. Okay. Let's bring up the next person. God, so many office hours calls. Can we save those for the discussion in the Discord possibly? Coming up next is George. George is calling from New York about the Iran war. George, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
I'm 18 and he can.
Great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. All right, George, calling about the Iran war. Just to give a little preamble, George, I believe the Iran war is unjustified because the stated reason for the war is that Iran was a nuclear threat. However, Iran was not building nuclear weapons and had not reinstated its nuclear weapons program. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
I don't disagree with the reasoning. I don't
unmuffle your mic, George.
I don't disagree with I disagree with the reasoning. I don't think it's justified. The reason they're giving, the nuclear reason, is justified. I think the actual reason is maintaining America's hegemony.
You think it's the war's justified to maintain America's hegemony? Did you say yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's justified to kill civilians if America maintains power. Is what you're saying?
think we're actively trying to kill civilians. Things like this happen in war. Not
Did
saying
we
that
did we
many-
purposely bomb civilian infrastructure?
we're not actively bombing. A bomb that was old data though. It was 10 years behind.
No. I'm not just talking about the school. Have we purposely bombed civilian infrastructure since the start of the war in Iran?
Right into
What?
right into
We can't. Nope, not threatened to. We have purposely bombed civilian infrastructure.
where?
So we have bombed at least. There have been at least 40 cases. This has been determined by the ACLED, where the U.S. and Israel has striked civilian structures. The reason that we've give is because the reason that they have been bombed is because they've been dual civilian military structures. So they're structures that are used both by the military and by civilians. We've also been bombing oil and energy infrastructure. So there's been a strike on oil refineries. Oil refineries are civilian infrastructure. We've also struck civilian areas, including coastal cities in Iran. So like this idea that we have not attacked civilian infrastructure is just incorrect.
But does that not speak to the depravity of the RDC?
How would that speak to their depravity?
To put military dual infrastructure in such
we
such
have
places
dual
like
military and civilian infrastructure. Are we depraved? Have you ever been to
No.
West Point? There's literally elementary schools there. Most of our military bases have civilian infrastructures in them. I think you don't know what you're talking about.
I know what they're doing.
I think you don't know what you're talking about.
I think I do.
You just said that they're depraved because they have dual civilian and military infrastructure. Yet, we have dual civilian and military infrastructure. So are we depraved?
You know, I think I was referring to the school. I think
The school was not in a military infrastructure. The school was like
things happen in war. People die.
Oh,
People
I don't know.
get killed.
I don't know why we're pivoting away from that. I wasn't talking about the school, so I don't know why we're back to the school.
I said I think I was just focusing on the school, but
I don't know why when I gave you examples that weren't just schools. So why are we just talking about the school?
you know what they're doing. They know they're actively at war and they're still doing these things. I don't think they.
What? We have schools in military bases. Most countries have schools in their military bases. What are you talking about?
But they're actively at war.
Okay.
And they're using those bases.
Iran was not actively at war with us until we struck those bases.
They've been having low scale engagements with Israel for like the past couple months to a year.
Israel didn't bomb the school, we did.
Israel has been.
Do you know why we bombed the school?
Because it had a IRGC complex right next to it.
Nope.
Why do we bomb the school?
So the stated reason from the U.S. State Department is that the school we were using 14-year-old intel. The building the school was in used to be a compound 14 years ago, and we did not update our info when we struck it. We struck a 14-year-old target that has not been a military installation for 14 years. Do you think that's justified, that we struck a base without having updated our intel?
But damn, things happen. I mean,
things happen. Would this have happened if we updated our intel?
I can't believe that they didn't try their best. Would
this have happened if we updated our intel?
No, but
okay.
I can't.
So how is that justified?
People behind it. Because to keep our empire afloat. I'm not talking about specific instances of this, that, and the third. I'm talking about like
but you're
the
saying that it's
grander plan.
justified that all of this stuff is happening because it keeps the U.S. empire afloat. Even though the only reason any of this is happening is because the U.S. intervened in Iran back in the 50s.
Yeah, that does happen. America intervening is what has got us to a lot of these places. But I'm saying, the big threat right now isn't Iran. I don't think Iran is ever going to build a nuclear weapon.
Iran.
Okay. Iran is ever going to build a nuclear weapon. That doesn't make sense for their survival. It makes sense to threaten.
Then the war is not
that.
justified, friend.
I'm thinking of the grander geopolitical implications with China. What attacking Iran does.
Why are we worried about China? Can you point me to a time in the last 10 years where China has either economically or physically attacked the U.S. in the last 10 years?
They had a police station in New York, like a Chinese police station that actively went. Yes. No, they had a Chinese police station in New York. I remember this. It was so bad. Like they were in Chinatown actively, like going after dissidents. It was so weird, and they were doing that. And I think they're the ones that are killing all these scientists.
So we're just making shit up now.
What? They were too much. I live in New York. This was like
so did I,
crazy, bro. What? When this happened, when they had the police station, that was like a front for a Chinese store, and they were going after like dissidents. This was not like. Hello?
I feel like we've just lost the plot at this point.
What? I don't know what to tell you, man. That was like big news back in the day. That was a thing. But I think we need to keep doing this to maintain the management. Yeah.
Yes, you think that the U.S. should be an imperialist nation, and we should kill whoever we need to in order to maintain imperial power.
Yes, we've been profiteering off of this for the last how many years?
You believe it's justified because the U.S. should be able to kill whoever they want in order for us to maintain power.
That's how the
Do you
world
hear yourself?
For
Do you
a
hear
majority
yourself?
of the. This is how the world has
Do you hear
worked for a
yourself?
majority of. This isn't this isn't a me and you situation like where people have feelings. This is a nation. Like,
do you hear yourself?
They're greater goods. Am I tweaking? Am I not?
How many people is it okay for America to kill before we finally be like, oh yeah, this is wrong? How many? What should the number be?
I don't think it's ever gonna stop.
16,000 civilians. 1,600 civilians have died so far in Iran. Is that enough, or do we need to keep going?
I don't think it's ever gonna stop. In all honesty,
I didn't ask you if you think it's going to stop. I asked you how many deaths do you think is enough before you go, this is not justified?
Not of civilians, but of the regime, everybody.
Again, that's not the question I asked you. That's not the question I asked you. So I'm going to just re-ask the question I did ask you, and maybe you'll answer it. How many civilian deaths? How many? Okay. Civilian deaths is America going to be responsible for globally before you finally say enough is enough, it's no longer justified to maintain American hegemony?
When we're not in as much debt anymore. Yeah.
That's not the question I asked you.
You said however many.
How many civilian casualties will finally become enough for you to go, America specifically is finally doing too much and is no longer justified in trying to maintain global power? How many innocent people should we as a country kill before you finally go, never mind, we did the wrong thing?
kind of a loaded question. Like, how
It's
many innocent
literally not a
people-
loaded question at all.
like how many innocent people? I'm not for the killing of civilians, but if it happens as a consequence of military action, and it is what it is.
I am asking you. You have told me that these deaths are justified because America needs to maintain global hegemony and America needs to maintain power. So I'm trying to find out your parameters here to know how many of these deaths are justified. Let's say 1 million. Let's say America as an entity kills 1 million innocent people worldwide. Are we still justified in maintaining power through military intervention?
Sure.
2 million.
No.
No, 2
I
million
can't-
would be too many. If
No.
America globally kills 2 million people, innocent people, and these are deaths directly tied to U.S. intervention.
You're acting as if we're actively like looking for these innocent people and like shooting them. That's not what is happening.
I'm not
Russia's
saying that's what's
kidnapping
happening.
kids in
I'm
Ukraine.
saying these are
Murdering
innocent civilian
leaders.
deaths directly tied to U.S. military intervention. If America globally kills 2 million innocent people directly tied to American U.S. military intervention, do you think that at that point we should end this and be like, okay, no, we need to stop? Or do you think America's global power is still more important?
Making people kind of bad, bro. I guess is more important.
Great. More important than 2 million people. Is it more important than 3 million?
If we're good and
Is it more important than 3 million people's lives?
Sure.
Is it more important than 4 million people's lives?
Okay, no. When is it gonna be enough?
No. So you're saying it's not more important than 4 million people's lives? 4 million is your cutoff. If America has caused directly 4 million civilian deaths through military intervention, then you would say that's too many people. America's global position of power is not worth that many deaths.
I guess.
Okay, great. America has killed closer to 12 million globally throughout its history. We can look at specific numbers if you want, but America as a global power, if you want to just look at innocent civilians that America specifically has killed during interventions, we're looking at closer to 10 million people. We can just look at some direct numbers. We can look at the 200,000 deaths done by the Japanese bombings. That's 200,000 people. We can go to Vietnam. There were 365,000 civilians killed because we dropped bombs, including white phosphorus, which is a war crime to drop on people. We can go to North Korea. In the Korean War, we killed 2 to 3 million civilians. You know what we said about the Korean War when we were dropping 635,000 tons of explosives on Korea? We specifically called to wipe out all life in tactical locality. That was the direct quote that America used about bombing. We wanted to wipe out all life. We did not want even civilians to survive. That's why we, again, dropped 635,000 tons of explosives and 32,000 tons of napalm. Wars are not fought by dropping 600,000 tons of explosives on civilians. That's not how wars are fought. That's not how wars are fought, especially when we lost the war. We can look at how many people we've killed in Iraq since the Iraq war had started. It's been 1 million people. Civilians. What about the secret prisons we ran? Abu Ghraib was a secret prison the United States ran. We ran a secret prison in Iraq in which we tortured people, and a report came out later that proved that 90% of the people in that prison that we tortured, that we murdered, that we sexually assaulted were innocent. We did all of that. So when we want to sit here and say it's justified for America to maintain power, no, it isn't. We kill civilians precisionally, which is why I don't believe shit when the administration says it was a mistake we killed those school children. No, it fucking wasn't.
Is he talking to me? Wait, am I muted?
I'm talking. So you're muted. You're not going to. I'm going to keep speaking until my sentence is done.
No, keep going.
No, I'm done now. Let's see how you defend all of what you just said. If you could also take the mic out of your face, it would be great because we can barely hear you.
I think I'm on speaker. I don't think all that is okay, but I'm saying that that's how wars are fought. And what about the other guys? Like they're not fighting a clean fight. They're doing
what about the other guy
that aren't. And even
do you know why the North Korea war was fought? Do you know why the war in Korea was even fought?
Proxy there were proxies. There are proxies.
The war in Korea was fought because America didn't like that when they ran a democratic election, right? A democratic election, that Korea voted in the Communist Party. So America went to South Korea and said, well, we're going to back a new election done in South Korea where you're not going to give everyone the right to vote. And then the people in Korea were like, well, we don't like this. We don't like that you're trying to engage in this. And North Korea, who predominantly voted in the Communist Party, was like, we really don't like this. And then a war broke out because America doesn't want, quote unquote, communists to take over. Same reason we went to Vietnam. Same reason we fuck with Cuba. Same reason we fucked with Iran.
Using Korea as your example?
Yeah, if you don't know about the Korean War, then like trying to like rage, trying to like emotional appeal Korea.
So look at where they're at now. No, what? If anything, I'm pretty sure a majority of people there are pretty happy about the U.S. intervention.
So, okay, so because the majority of people there are happy because they weren't one of the 2 to 3 million people that were killed, that means it was justified. Do you hear yourself?
Oh, this is like a trauma.
Do you actively hear yourself? When you kill all of the people that oppose you, yes, the happy ones are going to be who's left over because you've killed all the people. You know, Germans were mostly happy during the Holocaust. So I guess the Holocaust was justified because Germans were mostly happy during it. Or is it that they killed everybody that disagreed with them?
You're not going to be happy, of course.
Or do you hear yourself? You have to. I'm sure you have to hear yourself right now. You know there wasn't a North and South Korea prior to the Korean War, right? Like it wasn't a split country. The war is what led to them splitting up.
I feel like you're not saying anything.
There's no way.
You're a profiteer of America's empire. We're all profiting. So do you want the empire to collapse or what do you want?
Do I want I don't think America's empire should exist, correct? I don't think America should be imperialist and swing its dick around and make decisions about what happens in the rest of the world through CIA operations. I don't think Operation Contra should have happened. I don't think Cuba should be currently under sanctions and embargoes because America doesn't like that Cuba got to decide its own fate. I don't think America should be operating secret prisons in the Middle East. I don't think we should keep open fucking Guantanamo Bay for 5 people.
Diplomacy, bro. It's a bigger diplomacy.
That's not diplomacy. Using the CIA to run secret operations is not diplomacy. It's imperialism.
And I mean, I guess it is.
It's not I guess. Diplomacy is when you work with the country, not when you sneak into the country and do fucked up shit, like run a coup where you take out somebody who was democratically elected to place in dictators. Batista, the Shah, Chile. How many dictators does the U.S. have to put into power before we go, hey, maybe it's not okay the U.S. is doing this?
I mean, there. You know what? I don't think there's a line for me. In all honesty, I don't think I'm.
Of course you don't think there's a line.
Like if Obama was doing this, I would have been behind him.
Obama was doing it. Obama was doing it. We don't fuck with him either.
What? Oh, nah. Yo, I'm off this. Nah.
Fucking thank Christ. Fucking Christ. Pinochet, Garcia, Videla, Batista, multiple during the fucking Operation Condor. Pahlavi, Mubarak, Saddam Hussein. How many dictators does the United States have to support before we go, maybe we're wrong? Suharto, Marcos. like quite literally. How many before we eventually go, this is wrong? Shit, dude. I refuse. One of the things you're going to notice about me compared to other like internet debaters is I refuse to let somebody move past the goalpost or move past the question that I'm asking. By the way, there's 1,000 of you watching on YouTube. Hit that like button. If 500 of you moved over to Twitch, I'd be so happy. I'm just saying. I think 500 of you watching on YouTube should come over to Twitch. Or just open the Twitch up and just leave it on in the background, right? So that way I can get like a boost in Twitch viewers. Let's bring on the next person. Coming up next is Roberto. Roberto calling in from Massachusetts. Roberto, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
I am 35 years old, and I am a man.
Okay, what are your man pronouns?
I don't understand what you mean by that. I'm a man. I have a
Sure, I'll
penis.
rephrase it differently. Between both of my chats, there's about 1,400 people watching you right now. Should they refer to you as a he, a she, a they, or something else?
I'm comfortable being a man, and whatever they want to believe.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question again.
I'm very
going to ask the
respectful.
question again. I'm going to ask the question again. There are 1,400 people watching between the two chats. Would you like them to refer to you as he, she, they, or something else?
He is fine, sir.
There we go. Thank you. All right. Now, Roberto, you are calling in specifically to talk about topic number 3, gender affirming care for minors. Just to give you my stance, I do believe that minors deserve gender affirming care because when done under medical supervision, it's been shown to lower, specifically to reduce distress and improve well-being. Do you disagree with this? And if so, why?
I do disagree, but right before I answer your question, can I just ask a question from you?
If you want to, I guess.
Yes. This is a debate, which means that we're equally debating on the same platform, correct?
Are we? I don't know what you mean by equally debating.
What I mean by that is you ask questions and I can ask you questions so we could debate on something, correct?
Sure, potentially.
And we could just give each other the respect of being silent and listening to the other person without interrupting, right?
Potentially, unless nonsense is said. I interrupt
No,
non-substance.
but what if I
don't
deem what you say is nonsense? That's what I'm trying to say. So if you just give me the courtesy of just being silent while I respond,
Roberto,
understand? Yes,
Roberto.
sir.
Considering this is my show, right? We're not on like a moderated debate platform. This is a call-in style show. I will decide when I feel that something of substance is being said. And if something of substance is being said, I will gladly let you say as much as you want. If something non-substantive is being said, I'm going to interrupt and point out why it lacks substance.
Well, I guess we could agree to disagree, but let's have our debate.
We're going to agree to disagree on how I run my show? Okay, sure. Good thing only one of these opinions matter in that regard. Do you want to answer the question now?
What was your question again, sir?
Oh boy. Do you disagree that gender affirming care reduces distress and improves well-being? Yes or no?
No, I do not.
So then why would I, if you don't disagree with that, why would you be against gender affirming care?
I believe I'm against gender affirming care because I've worked as a substance abuse counselor for 8 years. And I've seen a lot of people coming in and out because of like drug abuse. A lot of it's like mental health related. And a lot of common stories that I get were from people who were like, children as kids, and then they became, like gay, bisexual, however they decide to call themselves.
I've yet to see how this links up to the larger point here.
Okay, so just to get to the point, in my experience as a mental health counselor / substance abuse counselor, it comes to me that children are not developed enough in the brain, which is why children can't buy tobacco, children can't buy alcohol, children cannot date older men because they still haven't developing in their brain.
I'm waiting for you to connect these to something.
Oh, I'm connecting it. That's what I mean. Yeah, they're too young to make decisions to want to mutilate their genitals at an early age. When in reality,
that's where I knew you were going. It's just kind of useless. Roberto, who makes medical decisions for children?
Their guardians.
Oh, okay. So when you go, well, the children are too young to be making these choices. They're not the ones making the choices, are they?
No, it's their guardians.
Oh. So then it's kind of silly to say children are too young to be making choices when those choices aren't being made by children. They're being made by who again?
Yes, I mean, children should have, enough say at least in their life. Yeah,
I already forgot.
Well, when it comes to like medical choices, like healthcare proxies, it should be the guardians usually that signs for them. Yes, sir.
So again, if the parents are agreeing to this care, the doctors are recommending this care, and the care is reducing distress and improving the well-being of the child, why wouldn't we support this care?
Because the child is not developed enough in the brain to have to make a decision like that has long-term implications of mental health issues.
Who's making the choice again?
Both the guardian and the children.
The children are now making the choice. They're only making it with the parents. So parents can't make choices for kids is what you're essentially boiling this down to. That because the child is not old enough to know any better, the parent can't make this medical decision for their kid, is what essentially you're saying.
No, I don't believe the procedure should take place at all, even if the parent signs off on it. I don't think it's humane.
Why?
I think it's huge.
Okay, you don't think it's humane. Eugenics. You believe it's eugenics. How?
Correct.
Actually, before the how, what is eugenics?
Well, eugenics is the sterilization of a population to stop birth rates from happening.
What population is being sterilized?
The Western civilization. More specifically, really, because it's running rampant over here in America.
How many kids? Which specific treatments? Here, let me ask you a better one. Which specific treatments lead to sterilization, in your opinion?
Well, when you have the doctrinization of radical people, most specifically on the left,
not the question I asked you.
Little kids,
not the question I asked you.
To mutilate their genitals.
Not the question I asked you. What specific treatments lead to sterilization? That's the question I asked you.
Well, I don't know that question to answer you most honestly.
So your claim
Sure.
is that these treatments are being done that lead to sterilization, and they're being done on children, but you can't even tell me what treatments those are?
Well, like I said, I'm a substance abuse counselor and a mental health counselor, and I
Cool.
don't know the specifics
I
on
once
that.
I once owned a goldfish. Now we've both said things that don't matter to this conversation.
All right. Can I ask you a question now, since you asked me like 12 questions?
12 questions that didn't get answers, but sure, go ahead.
All right. And I just want you to answer it. Could you at least answer that question, please? Just one question I ask you.
When
You
I
ready?
hear the question, possibly. If it's a good faith question, I'll answer it. If it's a bad faith question, I won't.
All right. Well, this is a great question. Very short, and I hope you can answer it for all our viewers, okay? What is the definition of a woman?
An adult human whose gender identity aligns with their personal schema on the female sex.
Okay. Do you know my definition of a woman?
I assume you opened a dictionary and you haven't used a different definition since the second grade. So I'm assuming whatever the dictionary tells you.
Well, you don't have to insult my intelligence. I'm not doing that.
I had to insult your intelligence a long time ago. Yeah.
No, we're having a respectful conversation, sir. And then
I don't think
I'm
it's
telling you
respectful.
what my definition is.
Well, it's not your definition. It would be the dictionary's definition.
Okay. I thought we were going to let each other talk. Can I talk, please?
Yeah, I said if it was substantive, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to begin now. Can I have the floor, sir?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. My definition of a woman is a woman can birth a child. Can a transgender person create a child by birth?
Can all women birth children?
No. You're not answering my question.
I'm sorry. Why would I answer it when your premise is fucking stupid?
Is a biological woman capable of having children?
Not all of them.
A transitional
Not all
woman
of them.
cannot have children.
Not all of them.
Therefore, your argument is delusional,
Not all
sir,
of them.
Because
can every woman birth the children? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Because if you take
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Woman,
Do you think every woman can birth children?
Yes. Well, you know what? Some women cannot have children. That's true.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, trans women are just the women that can't have children. Great, thank you. Wow, that was.
They're not women. They're not a woman. They weren't born with.
Then neither are those women, because you said in order to be a woman, you have to be able to have birth.
No, listen. A transgender woman cannot have eggs.
That's what you said.
That can get fertilized.
That's what you said.
You cannot put a zygote inside a woman to get fertilized. It doesn't work that way.
Now you're those. You know, have you ever played football before?
That's completely off topic. We're talking about
Have you ever played football before?
And transgender women cannot have children.
Have you ever played football before?
You could adopt children.
Have you ever
There's no
played
problem with
football
adopting
before?
children, sir. But you cannot have children by birth.
Roberto, have you ever played football before?
Listen. You could ignore it.
Shh, Roberto. Shh. Quiet, Roberto. No one can hear you right now. I have you muted. Just so you're aware, nobody can hear you, Roberto. I have you muted. I see you're still talking. I don't know why.
That's the truth. What a woman is.
Great. Now that you've shut up, nobody could hear you, Roberto. I had you muted. I just want to know if you've ever played football before, Roberto. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. I have played football.
Okay. What are those things that are standing at the end of the field that you can kick the ball through?
The goalpost.
Yeah. And if you were to take those and push them 100 yards in the opposite direction, what did you do to them?
In essence, you're pushing the goalpost, which what you're trying to say is.
So you would be.
Do you think
you would be moving them?
The goalpost?
Do you think you'd be moving them at all?
Well, how about we put it in this?
I'm going to mute you again. You're muted again. Let me just illustrate for you how you moved the goalpost, Roberto. Nobody can hear you. You're muted again. The only reason I know you're not muted is I can see your waveform, but you are in fact muted. So let me explain how you moved the goalpost. Okay? So Roberto made a claim. This will be good for you, chat. This will be a good little introduction. Roberto made a claim. Roberto said the definition of woman is women can get pregnant. I then asked Roberto, can all women get pregnant? Roberto said no. But, those women who can't are still women. Meaning Roberto, quite literally, took a goalpost and moved it. He took it from here and he moved it here. Now, I don't like moving the goalpost, which is why I haven't changed my definition of woman in like fucking 100 years. But Roberto, big yikes. Took it, moved it. He took it, moved it. Just want to be so clear about that. Took it, moved it. Now, Roberto, are you ready to make a claim in which you don't move the goalpost?
Are you going to let me talk, or are you going to mute me?
If you can make a claim in which the goalpost does not move, you won't get muted.
No, every time I talk about something, you mute me because you don't want the viewers to hear my point of view. You're not giving me the respect.
The viewers have heard your point of view. It was dumb. They heard it.
Oh, it was dumb? No, you deemed it dumb because it doesn't go with your narrative. You don't agree. I
deemed it dumb because you moved the goalpost.
You don't agree. Okay,
that's why I deemed it dumb. You took the goalpost and you moved it.
I truly believe that it's okay.
You put it here.
For men.
It was up here. You put it here.
Can I talk?
It was over here. And you put it here. So as long as you don't move the goalpost again, it's beautiful. Roberto, can you just tell me what is the necessary condition to be a woman, Roberto?
Excuse me?
What is the necessary condition to be a woman?
What's the necessary condition to be a woman?
Yep.
Well, necessary condition to be a woman is to have a real vagina, someone that could reprocreate, someone that has estrogens normally in their system, not testosterone. Testosterone and estrogen are two different things.
Roberto, I hate to break it to you.
Yep.
Every woman has testosterone.
Yes, but very little. But but men do not have estrogen.
Good God. I hate to break it to you, Roberto. Every man has estrogen.
Oh man, listen.
Are we gonna move that goalpost again? Is that goalpost about to move again?
I'm not moving. I'm not moving the goalpost. I'm just letting you know.
Let's hear that goalpost move. Let's hear that goalpost move again. Do men have estrogen, Roberto?
Okay. What's the? All right. How about we go back on topic? Okay, sir.
We're gonna move away.
Okay,
this is on topic. You said the necessary condition was having estrogen.
No,
and now you're claiming that men don't have estrogen.
What is a woman? No, the topic was what is a woman. And I told you exactly what a woman is. A woman is a person that could reproduce with and has eggs that could be fertilized by sperm from a male.
Great. So a woman who does not produce eggs, what is she?
The most scientific proof I could provide to you.
Roberto, if I have a female that doesn't produce eggs, what is she?
She can't produce. There's women out there that just can't have babies.
Oh, shit. That goalpost just moved again, Roberto. You took it from here and you put it here. Oh, shit. We moved it again.
Sure. All right. Well, how about
how many goalposts we got to move, Roberto? God damn.
Well, listen, some women can't have kids. That's very true. But men that turn into women can never have kids.
Wow, Roberto, that's something I didn't fucking ask you about. What I asked you is to maintain a consistent.
But is that a true
what I'd love for you to do, Roberto. What I'd love for you to do.
Can a trans man have a kid?
What I'd love for you to do. Can trans men have kids? Yes.
Scientifically.
Yeah, plenty of trans men have kids.
Scientifically speaking.
Actually, Roberto, I hate to bring it to you.
A trans man can never have a child.
Actually, trans men have kids all the time.
Yeah, adopted kids, of course.
Nope, biological children kids, right? Out of their trans man vagina. Happens all the time, Roberto. But I get it, Roberto. I get it.
Sir, they can adopt children,
education,
which is okay. Children
education. You have been playing hide and seek with education since you were like 12, and education is clearly winning.
But you don't even know me. You're just saying all these mean things to me, and I haven't even said not one mean thing to you. I just been giving you the definition of a woman, and you just don't like it, and it's okay. It's okay.
Roberto,
you don't want to believe what you see in front of your face.
Roberto, trans men can have children.
How?
Through their vaginas.
Explain that.
out of their
Trans men
uteruses.
have vaginas that can spit out women. Really?
Most trans men have vaginas. Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Wait. Here's what
sorry.
we'll do, Roberto. Here's what we'll do. If I can prove it to you, you owe me $20.
that men can spit out babies from where?
Trans men can have babies. Trans men can have babies. If I can prove it to you, you owe me $20.
No, look, trans men.
If you're so sure, place $20 on it.
I don't believe the science, to be honest. Like what you're
so
saying.
So then put $20 on it. So if you don't believe it, that's a free $20 in your pocket.
I don't believe it. Like honestly, I don't know what.
So then this will be a free $20. So place the bet. You'll get a free $20.
Well, I don't understand where you're going with this because you like to.
I'm not going to tell you where I'm going with it until you tell me if you're taking the bet or not. Why would I tell you where I'm going? We're placing a bet.
You like to take the goalpost and move it. So
I know you just heard the phrase goalpost moving today, so you're trying to use it in a sentence. But that was an incorrect usage of the term goalpost.
How you're going to move the goalpost?
I hate to break it to you.
You're trying to move the goalpost.
This is so embarrassing. Holy shit.
A trans man can have a baby.
Yes, they can.
If a trans woman gave him the baby, right?
Nope. Trans men can have biological babies, and I will prove it to you if you place the bet.
Well, by having sex, is it by sex or is it by a mad scientist?
Place the bet. Don't be scared. You're scared now because you know you're wrong. And you don't want to put the money on the line.
I want you to actually prove it because honestly, what you're telling me
so make the
is
bet.
Nonsense.
$20. Here's the bet right now. Do you want to take the bet? $20.
You're poisoning the youth.
$20. Give me $20. Make the bet. Why are you being scared? Make the bet. I will once you take the bet. Take the bet.
Why won't
you take the bet?
You won't speak your claim. What is
it
the woman?
It seems like you're afraid. You're afraid to take the bet.
No.
Why are you so afraid?
What afraid is?
Afraid is you literally backing out of the bet right now. That's what's afraid. I don't care about your pivot. I don't care about your pivot. Muted. Roberto, I don't care about your pivot. Yes or no, are you going to take the bet? Yes or no? You're unmuted now.
How about that? How about you prove your claim so that you can tell the viewers exactly what's going on?
I knew you weren't going to take the bet because you're a fucking pussy. Sorry, that's a little that's disrespectful to people with vaginas.
Why
you're
are you
a penis.
saying this to me?
That's why, because you're a penis. You're a coward. Because you're a coward.
And you are a degenerate.
You're a coward.
Liberal.
You are a coward.
You're
you are a coward.
Iranian sympathizer.
You are a coward. Here, we're gonna mute you real quick. Hey, chat. Anybody want to read this real quick? What is this? Pregnancy in a transgender male? A case report and review of the literature? What? I don't even know why I needed to put the source. Everybody except Roberto knows that trans men can get pregnant because Roberto doesn't even know what he's mad at. Roberto, I just want to know how stupid. Just wake up one morning, how stupid did you need to be today?
And say, "Wow, I'm a guy."
Oh well, you're muted again. Womp womp. Womp womp. Womp womp. Womp womp. You're muted again. Here, let's unmute Roberto. Let's see how bad she's crashing out now. Oh, you still crashing out? Muted again. Womp womp. Womp womp. Hey, quick question for the substance abuse counselor. Do people want to kill themselves less or more after speaking to you? I'm just wondering.
Less, actually.
I don't care. Mute it again. Womp womp. Fucking joke, bro. You're such a joke, Roberto. You're a fucking joke. Anyway, someone paid to move on, so goodbye, Roberto. Stupid ass. Hey, Barbara, thank you for the Cash App to get rid of Roberto. Brother. Super chats. We also got some super chats. Let's go through them. Billy Sipes with the $50 super chat. Paying the money Roberto was too much of a coward to bet on and also to kick him. We did it. Katie Ironfist said, here's some degenerate bucks to fund the Fuck Roberto fund. True. Oh my God. Fuck Roberto. Agent said, it'd be funny if by counselor he meant chiropractor like the other guy. Oh my God. Wouldn't that be crazy? Deluxe said, I love when bad faith people think they can make Jovan look stupid with the what is a woman question. Jovan was right to be suspicious with Roberto. Yeah, of course. Hyde said, Roberto says you're not letting his viewpoint be said as if every anti-trans person has said the same 5 things. Literally. Liquidy Shit said, they always want you to be silent while they spew lies. Yes. Miss Queenie J said, thanks. Thanks as well. Zeus, thank you for becoming a tier 2 member for 4 months. Said, watching you refuse to move on until conservatives answer questions, my guilty pleasure. I'll never let them do it. What? Have you considered making, Monkey Man said, have you considered making the kick time 15 minutes? And I think 20 is perfect. Like 20 gives me the perfect amount of time in debates. Create a new rule said Roberto didn't have a spare $20 in the economy he voted for. True. Disobedient Avocado said my drink covered itself when he started talking. Crazy. That was crazy. Anyway, trans men can get pregnant because trans men were typically born female. So it's actually not that difficult at all for a trans man to get pregnant. Pretty easy, actually. Pretty easy, actually. All they need is some sperm and some eggs. Also, what's up, Promise? I see you in chat. We gotta get a co-stream going one of these days, Promise. So if you want to send me your like a schedule for you on Discord, I could get something planned. I think people would like a Jovan Promise stream. Armed Fro said, I feel bad for all the people Roberto counsels. Holy Uzi Jesus. That's crazy. I actually don't even know if Promise is still in here. Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, they're there right there. All right, let's bring in the next person. Coming up next to stream, we have Jason. Jason is calling to talk about topic number 4, capitalism failing. Jason, we don't have anything that we disagree on.
Well, your statement, capitalism failing, is, I think...
No, you just disagree with the framing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know. You don't know how I'm defining failing in this framework.
Well, how are you defining failing?
Yeah, I would define failing as any system that does not meet the needs of the people living within the system. Okay.
Is there a spot in the capitalism definition that says it will?
Nope, because that's not my claim. My claim isn't that capitalism is working as that capitalism isn't working the way capitalism intends to work. It absolutely is.
Yes, it is. Okay. I just want to make sure, because I just read capitalism failing, and I think we should put the conversation to capitalism is bad. We need to
should I phrase it capitalism is bad? Sure. I just think failing is a in my opinion, a better word to use. But like,
but
yeah, I just again,
but it's not capitalism is drawn
per my premise it is. Right.
What's your premise? Because your premise,
that any system,
you put a premise in that's not included.
Well, yeah, if people want to know what I mean by it, they would call in. They would say, "What do you mean? What do you mean by failing?" And I would tell them, any system that does not realistically meet the needs of the people living in that system is a failing system.
Okay. So that still goes against capitalism is failing.
Nope, because capitalism does not meet the needs of the people living in capitalism.
but it's not intended to.
What's
the main driver of capitalism?
Homie, I don't know why people do this. I don't know why people. Let me just ask you a question.
Hey, listen, I'm just having fun. I'll let you go. I love
Okay.
your debates. I just wanted to get in and be a nitpicker, but I honestly think we should push this conversation to more. Capitalism is bad, and we need to move away from it. Not that it's failing, and we can reform it. Because I believe
I've never made the claim we can reform it.
Well, that's alluding to it. Saying it's failing is acting like it can pass, right? What's the opposite of failing? Passing. No?
You know, there are classes that are just pass fail, right? That you can't like do better at. You just either do or don't. And then you don't get to take the class again.
Well, when you say it's failing, what's the opposite of failing?
Passing.
Okay. Do you think capitalism could pass?
No. Because it's failed.
Thank you. Then yeah, we don't disagree on anything.
We didn't disagree when you got in.
I admire you. After listening to those two previous callers, I admire you. Okay. I'll give you a small little clap, and you have a wonderful day, and I appreciate your content, and keep up the good work.
All right. No problem.
All right. You have a good one. Take it easy.
Too soon. Too soon. Too soon. Anyway. Ooh. Oh. What the fuck? All right, coming up next is Lave. Lave is calling from Massachusetts to talk about topic number 1, the Iran war being justified. Lave, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. I'm 34. He, him is good.
Okay. Now, Lave, you are calling to talk about the Iran war, just to give you where I stand on the issue. I believe that the Iran war is unjustified because the stated reason for the war is that Iran was a nuclear threat. However, Iran was not building nuclear weapons and had not reinstated its nuclear weapons program. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
Before we start, he, him is good for you as well, or your preferred pronouns?
Yes, my pronouns are he, him.
Cool. Yeah. So listen, Iran is obviously dancing around the line here with the nuclear weapons and so forth. They're enriching uranium to a mass degree.
Well, to 60%.
Justification for the but they're massing it. They're
so
anyway. So I believe that the war in Iran isn't just about the nuclear weapons. It's also for the people. It's about bringing democracy to the.
That's interesting that you say that.
People there.
Because we got rid of Khomeini, who was put in charge.
Yeah.
Who was put in charge after we got rid of the leader of the Ayatollah?
I mean, listen, it's not a great situation, but
who was put? You said that it was about freedom, about bringing democracy to these people. So when we got rid of the head of the Ayatollah, we got rid of their leader. Did we facilitate a democratic election?
Probably not. I don't think we're so good at
what did we do?
Doing that kind of thing.
So what did we do?
I don't
Instead,
know.
I'll tell you who's in charge. His son. His son was put in charge. His son is more radical than he was. His son may restart the nuclear weapons program. His son is crazy. It seems weird that if we're doing this, and the reason we did this was for the people, that we wouldn't give the people a say. But I mean, Donald Trump said specifically that he does not care if Iran becomes a democratic state. In fact, what he said directly, and this is a quote from an interview he gave, this was back in March, he specifically said he wants to install the leader of Iran, that he should be able to choose who leads the country. Is that democratic?
Not really.
So it doesn't seem like we were doing this for a democratic reason, does it?
Who knows what we were doing it for originally?
Israel.
But well, yes,
it's Israel.
Yes and no. Yeah, but Israel's a democracy in the Middle East. You don't, you know, you have to support a democracy in the Middle East.
Israel's democracy? Do the Palestinians living in the West Bank have a say on electoral politics in Israel?
They do not, but
they seem very democratic.
Yeah, but
what about in their own? What about
Israel? It's not part of Israel.
It's not
land.
So how come Israel controls the West Bank?
I mean, the issue with Israel and the West Bank, it all gets very complicated with that because...
Does it?
It is, because there are people there, and you have to somehow deal with these people while also kind of maintaining a democratic kind of state. I mean, if Israel
the West Bank is Israel controls their borders. It controls movement in and out of the West Bank. It controls their airspace. It controls the security enforcement, and it controls checkpoints and like the perimeter system of the West Bank. Area A is supposed to be completely maintained by the Palestinian Authority. How can the Palestinian Authority and the people of the West Bank and Area A have a democratically controlled state if Israel refuses to give them control of their own land?
So you're saying for Palestine to be its own specific state, the West Bank to become...
Well, I'm saying, how can the people of the West Bank, if the West Bank is not Israel, how can Israel be pro-democracy and pro-democratic positions if the West Bank, which is not a part of Israel, but controlled by Israel, they refuse to give these people sovereignty over themselves?
You mind repeating that once more?
How can Israel be pro-democracy when it refuses to give people sovereignty?
Well, it's pro-democracy in a certain extent. If you give too much democracy to the people who believe something other, like specifically in Israel, it's like Judaism, Christianity, Islam.
You said the West Bank was not Israel.
Huh?
You said the West Bank was not Israel.
No, it's not. It's a separate.
So giving the West Bank sovereignty wouldn't be taking away Israel's sovereignty, would it?
No.
Okay. So why don't they give the West Bank sovereignty?
The issue is in my opinion, they should. They should give them sovereignty of a certain extent, or give the West Bank to is it Jordan is in that area or whatever, the map lines or whatever. I mean, if people want to negotiate that, that would be like amenable in my opinion.
Israel won't let them. That's why I'm asking you, is if Israel is pro-democracy, why won't they do this?
Well, I don't think Israel has Israel ever said that it wouldn't let them do that? Like if Jordan wanted to take the West Bank, or...
Yes, Israel's not giving up control of the West Bank.
But did Jordan specifically say that they were going to take over the West Bank? Or
how could they take it over when Israel has control?
Well, Israel doesn't have much control.
Israel control. Should I go over the list again?
Please, if you don't mind.
They control the borders of the West Bank and movement in and out of the West Bank. They control the airspace above the West Bank. They control basically all of the security enforcement within the West Bank, and they control checkpoints and perimeter systems around the West Bank.
But do they control the borders from the West Bank to like Jordan on the other side?
They control all of the borders of the West Bank.
Wait, Israel controls the border between West Bank and Jordan?
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure.
I am. They do. Israel maintains all control over the borders of the West Bank. The West Bank also doesn't border Jordan, FYI. It's like in the middle of Israel. I guess it borders it on the side, like if we're talking about Israel controls Israel. If you're looking at like Israel controls all the West Bank, so it doesn't matter. They control it all. They control the border with Jordan. They control all the West
disagree.
Bank.
I think Jordan controls their own borders and so forth, but and no one's really put that to the table. In terms of the Iran war, sorry, we got off topic. I apologize. I'm like seeing you on the Twitch.
The main crossing between Israel and between the West Bank and Jordan is the Allenby Bridge crossing. Israel controls that. They control the security at that crossing. Now, Jordan controls the Jordanian side. Like their side, they have control of, but Israel has control over the West Bank side.
Yeah.
So Israel maintains control over Jordan. Or not over Jordan, over the West Bank.
Yeah, I don't know. I just believe that the justification for we're going back to the Iran war. And I apologize for that. It's just for the people there.
Then why didn't we give the people there a democratic election?
Well, because our leaders are corrupt as well. This is kind of the issue.
So then it's not for the people there.
It's doing something.
Like what?
The war, just the
yeah, I'm asking you what to do.
Try to give the people, to try to give them the boost to overthrow the IRGC. I mean, you raise
how
good
can
points.
It give that? How can it give them a boost if we just put in a more radical leader?
I'm sorry. No, that's the issue. You need a less radical leader,
but we put in a more radical leader.
But if it were for a less radical leader, would you be for the Iran war?
No, I don't think. I think almost no wars are justified.
So like, even I mean, I don't disagree with that. I also think, war isn't justified in general, but we live in a world where people aren't nice.
Yeah, but I'm specifically at this point talking about justifications.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't believe in like the Iran kind of values of the government and so forth, right?
I believe in the value that American imperialism should be put to an end. Me and Iran have that in common.
In what sense?
In that Americans should not be able to police the global stage and use their influence to overthrow democratically elected governments like they did in Iran in the 50s.
Well, democratically, sure, but I mean, is Iran a democracy right now?
They were.
Yeah, but they're not right now, right?
Because when they got rid of the U.S. in the revolution, they decided to move to a religious theocracy. But prior to the revolution, they had democratically run elections.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens with democracy. You vote in a certain party, they take over and potentially maintain power, and that's like the big issue.
But they didn't. The U.S. took over.
Yeah. So
well, and then the U.S. installed the
know.
Shah, and the Shah killed a bunch of people and used secret police to imprison a bunch more. So when the religious sect of Iran took over, they said, well, we don't like America anymore. We hate America, actually, because look at what they did to our country. I think kind of valid, right?
Yeah. No.
Kind of a valid thing to say valid. after you just, overturned a dictatorship.
Absolutely. It's just, I don't know. You see the videos of the people who are constantly revolting in Iran, and are getting subjugated by the government, and you just say, like, those people deserve kind of the life that we live, the spoiled life we live here in America, kind of thing.
What?
Is that
what are you saying?
Well, to bring democracy, bring them Americanism.
We are not bringing them democracy. Freedom. We're not bringing them freedom. None of those things are happening.
We should bring them democracy and freedoms, which is why I would.
We are the ones that took that away from them.
Yeah, but that's why I think we should go even further with the war
So how would we do it? Would we do another coup in Iran? Like, what would we do specifically?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the top leaders, everyone, but it would be super cool if they would all be like, let everyone just have all freedoms, but they don't. And so, I don't know, we wage war and turn Iran into the 51st state. Or something like that.
You think in order to give Iranian people freedom, we should take over their government and force them to be a state in America? So you've just essentially stopped being serious in this conversation.
I mean, yes and no. It's democracy. It's bringing democracy to the rest of the world. So
it's democracy to force someone to become a part of your country. That's democracy.
Yeah.
So you take democracy to be the Darth Vader route of democracy. It's democracy as long as I tell you what to do and you do what I say.
Well, I mean.
So, Lave, what happened is you realized you didn't have any facts on this argument, and now you're just trolling at this point. It's a little embarrassing, TBH.
Well, I appreciate the debate either way.
Was it a debate?
Well, I appreciate the conversation either way.
Very one-sided one.
Well, have a good one.
And you have the day you deserve. Like, what the fuck, bro? Yeah. I mean, what do you do? Okay. We should make Jovan's home the 51st state, bro. Crazy. Coming up next is Zaya. Zaya from Texas is calling with an office hours question about capitalism. Zaya, could you just provide me your age and pronouns, please?
Hello, I'm 20 and she, her.
Wonderful. Okay, Zaya, what's your question?
I had sort of two questions. I wanted to clarify. There's this old analogy you used to use where you take capitalism is the idea that during a plane crash, the first person to find the lake owns the lake. I was curious,
the Monkey Island analogy.
Yeah, what does that look like? What would that look like under communism?
Everybody would use the lake collectively together, and no one person would have control over it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I figured it would be that, but I'm still very confused as to how communism itself works.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
question I had.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
The actual question I had is, do you believe abolition of money is a good idea?
Yeah, I don't see money as serving any relevant value when you remove private property. Money doesn't really hold value because we're not valuing labor. Money is just a way to give in exchange to the value of labor. Once you move to a communist system and you no longer value labor the same way, right, where labor is not given in exchange for sort of that value, then there's no reason for money.
Does communism not still hold to the idea that those who work more generally get more?
No, not usually. I mean, it can. There's nothing saying that it can't, but the whole purpose of communism is to devalue, labor shouldn't be valued in the same way that it's valued under capitalism, right? Your purpose of doing the labor should be because you want to benefit the society as a whole, not because you're looking for some monetary benefit over the labor.
Okay. I assumed that communism still did hold to the idea that if you do more work, you get more, not services, just more goods and stuff.
Let me see what
you get more of what you want if you do more work.
Give me a second. Let me see what I got. Most of my communism books apparently are not here. Apparently most of my books on communism are at the office. Read oh God, what's it called? Read Socialism, Utopian, and Scientific by Engels. That'll be a good starting place, I think, for you. And it's not that long. So I think that'd be a good starting point for you on this.
All right, I'll look into that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
You have a good day.
You too. Yeah, that's probably where I would say start with that question. Socialism. I have that book. I don't know where the fuck it is. All my communism books are missing, I guess. Oh, wait, son of a bitch. Never mind. That's even more embarrassing. Wait, is Firehawk still here? Firehawk, are you still here? I thought I had found where I placed my books. Specifically that one I had mentioned. So I thought I found where I put that book. And then I went over and it was actually RC's book. I forgot I own a copy of RC's book. Fucking, this is one of the worst written things I've ever read. What's a good starting book to get into communism? The Manifesto is always where you should start and then move from there. I got to put together a reading list. I got to add that to the source document. So you know what? We're going to add that to the source document. Source document, add a tab. What should we call it? Jovan's recommended reading list. And then I'll just make sections for everything. I'll just say Jovan's reading list. Slowly, I'll start adding stuff to the reading list. All right, next call. How much time do I have? I can stay until 6. give or take. Coming up next is Abby. Abby is calling to talk about capitalism failing. Abby, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Yeah, I'm 18 years old. My pronouns are he, him.
Okay. Abby, what you were calling to talk about capitalism failing, no problem. Abby, I believe capitalism is failing because it does not sufficiently meet the needs of the people in the world that are living under it, specifically if we look at the global south. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
I disagree. And I would say that I agree that the current system is failing, but I don't think that's necessarily attributable to capitalism. And I think reforms can be made to improve that system, like something like the New Deal with FDR, for example.
You disagree that okay. Do you know how many people in the globe are food insecure?
Yeah, billions, yeah.
Okay. Do you know how many are water insecure?
Probably around the same.
Okay. Do you know how many are... Let me think of some other ones. Do you know how many people in the globe live under the global poverty line?
The poverty line, I mean, it's technically a few billion, but there's also issues with the global poverty line. Like, it's not even high enough. They say it really low on purpose.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, I'm just trying to, I mean, yeah, it seems like if all of that is true, how could we say capitalism isn't failing?
Because I don't necessarily think something like exploitative labor chains in the world economy, or things like high levels of wealth inequality, or things like not assuring basic needs, that isn't necessarily tied to a system that's different from capitalism. You can have that while having private ownership of like companies and stuff.
You can, how can you have, wait. Do you think you could have public ownership while still having companies?
No, you can have things like material needs insured while still having private ownership.
How's that possible? What's the goal of private ownership? Like, what's the incentive of companies through private ownership?
The incentive, okay. I mean, there's the profit incentive, and I'd say the main issue right now is not that necessarily companies aren't publicly and socially owned, but that companies aren't. Well, I agree that some companies should be publicly owned. Like, I agree we should nationalize like water, like public transport, all that other stuff. But then there's some things that don't necessarily need to be socialized, and I think those businesses can be taxed, they can be held accountable, there's regulations, there's other things. Like, you know what I mean?
What businesses do you think don't need to be socialized?
Stuff that isn't necessarily essential to human living.
Can you get a little more specific?
Okay. Telecommunications.
You think it's not necessary? Telecommunications aren't like a necessary thing that we need?
I think. Well, okay. Let me reword my original. I guess I worded that wrong. That was my fault. Not necessarily everything that we don't need, but everything that is, I would say, directly essential to how we live our life. So stuff like water, food, transport, childcare, other things.
Okay.
Housing.
And you think those aren't necessary per se?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry. Say that. Okay. So just a few things I'm trying to understand here. When we look at private property ownership and we look at the goal of profit to essentially extract as much possible, when you get down to it, when you get down to a company that has gotten its production costs down to the furthest possible amount they can get it, Where is the only place that they can now cut expenses to increase profit?
Like, okay, yeah, I agree. They export labor to like poorer countries.
Yeah, so it would be labor costs, right?
Yeah.
So like even these companies that you would say we should allow to maintain privatized, they would still only be able to profit like they were, especially if the rest of the world is operating under a socialist system. The only way those companies are going to profit is if they severely undercut labor costs.
So you don't think private business could exist, could make profits, and pay their workers decent wages?
No. I think it's unrealistic to think that they're going to do this.
Okay, so what about instances where that was true in part or somewhat true? So, like the post-war Keynesian consensus you had in my country, the UK, and in America, you had like big deficit spending, you had like public services, you had high employment rates, growing wages.
But the labor is still being undervalued.
Okay.
The only way to profit is if you undervalue the labor. You physically can't pay the labor what the labor is actually worth, because then you wouldn't get a profit.
Okay. Wait, so you think you just continually that they're always going to undervalue labor, and it's never going to be enough to maintain the living standards for that group of people over time?
Yes, I think they're always going to undervalue labor. If we are supplementing the living standards through other things, I actually think nobody would want to work for these companies. So I don't know where these companies would get their labor if not exporting it outside of the US now, or outside of whatever country they're in to extract that labor somewhere else, or potentially get slaves, right? Because if you don't need to work that job in order to live, why would anybody work that job? If the job is not going to be paying you enough, right?
Well, I agree that it should pay you enough, and that's why we should have things like minimum wage laws and like labor bargaining and unions and all that kind of stuff.
I agree with all of those things, but those things are only a Band-Aid on the larger problem, right? They're treating the symptoms, but not the virus. The virus is private property ownership. So all of those things, unions, labor rights groups, social services, all of those things just treat the symptoms.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a fair point, but like, okay, well, let's get out of that, because I feel like we're just going to go circles with that. What alternative system do you propose that you think would function?
What alternative system? I mean, I'm a communist, but I believe, I have no issues with like moving to socialism first and then getting there later. But my ideal system would be one that does not have private property ownership.
Okay. I'm curious how would that economic structure entail? Like, is it still markets? Is it still a bunch of publicly owned business competing, or is it like central planning?
Well, it would just depend on which version of those things you're looking at, right? I don't know. There's tons of different structures of socialism and communism. Some would have markets that are centrally planned. Some would have, I've seen people that have recommended socialism and where the markets stay somewhat similar to they are now. I don't think those would necessarily work. I'm not even sure you need a market in the same sense that a market is done now. The economy would always need planning, because you're always going to have an economy. As long as you have people living, you're going to need ways to, or not even the economy, it's resource allocation. So like resource allocation is needed, but like as we continue to advance and like AI and stuff, that's just going to get easier and easier to do. We already see in micro examples how, like, I mean, look at a company like Walmart. I always like the example of talking about Walmart in this sense, because Walmart has such a meticulously planned economy within its ecosystem. Like, it's actually kind of scary how much they track. And to the point now that they're putting those fucking virtual price tags on things. And then they're going, well, we can now know at what hours of the day to increase the price of goods. In which people, so yeah, I would just move to more of a planned economy model. And I think it would be fine if we're planning the economy under people's basic needs.
Okay. I mean, me personally, like, I'm not necessarily against the idea of a planned economy. And, like, I know we live in post-scarcity, so, like, the issue isn't necessarily, like, oh, do we have the resources? Like, but, like, when you say planned economy, people are going to have that instant reaction. They're going to say, like, oh, the Soviet Union and China and, like, Holodomor and the famines and shit. Like,
I mean, I don't care about that.
You don't care about that? Like, you don't think...
I don't care if people are going, we should... If people tell me we shouldn't do this because it reminds me of this scary place, no, I think that's just silly.
Okay, fair point. So, I guess, I understand your general point, but I feel like this feels more like a hypothetical model. Like, what, like, direct evidence do you have to say, like, oh, here's this preferred system, here is the way it can work, here's evidence it can work?
I mean, evidence it can work. I mean, I would even look to the Soviet Union as evidence it can work. I mean, the Soviet Union, for all of its flaws, which there are many, I'm not a tanky, they were able to severely get rid of their wealth gap. Like, and raise their people out, like, look at the Soviet Union pre-Stalin and post-Stalin. Like, there are two completely different places. Like, life expectancy shot up, standard of living shot up. And, like, yeah, there were flaws, again, as there will be in all of these, but, like, even you can look at plate 10, like I look at America, like, there are flaws in America, but I still recognize the places in which the systems work and are beneficial. So I think it's silly when somebody just goes blanket, we shouldn't model after this country because I don't like the country or whatever.
Okay, I agree. Yeah, the Soviet Union did make massive improvements to people's lives.
Yeah.
Even there's countries like Yugoslavia that had really good quality of life as well. They were socialist. But like, a lot of people would say those systems collapsed, so they didn't work.
Yeah, but I would never blame the Soviet Union's collapse on just the Soviet Union, right?
So what would you blame it on?
A litany of things. U.S. intervention, for one.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, who knows what could have happened? Who knows where Cuba would be right now if Cuba was not facing 70 years of U.S. intervention? And that's just 70 years post the revolution.
I guess, like, okay, so you raised the point first, like, about, like, food poverty, water poverty, these other things. My, I guess, main issue with that is, like, I agree, there's imperialism and there's unequal exchange of resources that happen from global south to global north. But, like, is that necessarily tied to something like the profit motive? I would say the issue with that is, like, trade rules, tariff reforms, the fact that free markets are being forced, the fact that there's land grabs, they're forced to cut subsidies, they're forced to not fund public services and infrastructure. I would say those are the kind of issues that are causing these things. But what would you say?
That are causing these things now?
Well, they've caused the things historically, alongside, like, colonization, intervention, all that.
I'm sorry, restate the question one more time.
Okay, so you were talking about food poverty and water poverty. You would say that that's because of the capitalist system and socialism would fix that. I would say that those are because of things in our current system that are enforced by the IMF and the World Trade Organization, like free markets being forced. They're not allowed to use tariffs. They're not allowed to use subsidies. They're not allowed to fund their public services well.
Yeah, but again, the overarching disease is the private property ownership. That's what I would say is at fault for most of this. Everything else is just a byproduct of that. Literally, everything else is just a byproduct of private property.
I think I I don't like entirely disagree. I feel like I need to see something that supports that to a good enough extent that really ties it to that. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I would just look at, do you agree? Let me phrase it this way. Do you agree?
I'm
Yes
not
or
trying to
no?
like. Yeah.
No, sure. I'm trying to understand. Do you agree? Yes or no that like businesses being able to skirt taxes or underpaying labor or killing the earth through environmental practices, like, do you would agree like these are like the biggest faults happening right now?
Like 100%. I don't like the way globalization, neoliberalism. I don't like any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's only possible because of private property ownership.
I think that's possible because the wealth inequality got too powerful and capital was able to dominate. But assuming you have a fair balance, then and you have tight structural reforms in place, you can control that. But
I disagree, because what you have to realize is that private property ownership will always lead to cronyism and always lead to the people who are in charge of the markets also controlling the political decisions being made.
yeah, that's the problem I'm having with private property ownership. Will always lead to cronyism. I feel that feels like a very big claim. Like,
but we just see it. Like, we know it does.
I don't agree with the argument that you just see it. Like, I agree companies engage in exploitation all the time. I wouldn't say that's enough to support that directly.
I mean, I would just grossly disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, you say you disagree with this. Like, how can someone reconcile that difference? Because a lot of people would disagree with you. They'll say, like, I don't think private property ownership necessarily directly leads to cronyism, because there are many private people who own private property that don't engage in cronyism. There's like small, medium enterprises.
There are many people that own yeah, but I don't know. Most of the people who do are always going to find a way to lobby in their best interest, not in the best interest of the community or the society. They're going to find a way to lobby against the best or for the best interest of their businesses.
Okay, so, and you think we can't regulate them? We have to structurally change the system.
How do you regulate when they're the ones pumping the money into politics?
Or you do stuff like take away Citizens United.
Okay, how do you take away Citizens United when the people voting to keep it or take it away are paid through companies using Citizens United?
Through organizing, through like activism.
Organizing what? Activism what? If it doesn't matter what your activism is, if the people who are running
through the people.
Yeah, but if the people running the government don't care, like, what you would have to hope that every person you vote in is going to be is not going to be susceptible to being bought off.
Well, yeah, that people make that hope every time. It's not game.
Not enough of them.
Well, so you don't think with primary corporate Democrats you get in progressives and like that you don't think that's enough?
I think as long as we have private property ownership, people will be able to buy, our companies will be able to buy off politicians because they care more about the best interests of the company, not the community. If the community goes, hey, this business isn't beneficial for us anymore, we should disband it and move to something else, they're going to do that. A private property owner is going to go, how long can I keep this business going? It doesn't matter what I do it for. How long can I keep it going?
Okay, but how does that mean that small business like can't operate? That that's a bad thing.
What?
The small businesses aren't engaging in exploitation.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Like, okay, yeah, like multinational monopoly corporations, they're more prone to do that. Why? Like the mom and pop shop down the road, for example.
Well, the mom and pop shop down the road only
Well,
exists because the multinational corporation hasn't kicked them out yet. I mean, look at what happened. Look what happened in the United States. Walmart showed up, and then all of these mom and pop shops are gone. They've gone the way of the dodo bird. They're out.
I agree. Yeah, but
so as long as private property exists, mom and pop shops are only there in places where big businesses have allowed them to be there, essentially.
Okay, why can't we solve that with something like antitrust regulation?
Okay. I'm just going to say it again. Look at the United States. Donald Trump got elected and then broke up the FTC in a way that they're terrible now.
I agree.
Because a bunch of rich people were paying him to do so. That's why these laws will work as long as the fucking business owners don't decide, we don't want them anymore. And then they're going to go through and get rid of them.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think that's a fair point. I mean, I'll look into it. I might get back, but no, it's a good discussion, man.
All right. Well, you have a good rest of your day.
You too. See you, man.
See you. All right. I've started the book list. So the book list is started. So yeah, there's one book in there. Soon to be more, but right now there's just one book. Actually, I'm going to get rid of it. There will be one book soon. But I started a book list. I'll start working on it. Yeah. Whew, what time is it? How long am I going? 2.5 hours? It feels much later. Let me see. I'm kind of spent. Low key. Would chat be mad if I was spent for the day? I kind of want to just work on the source document a little bit more for the rest of the day. I'll do one more call, and then that's probably where I'm going to call it, just because I'm a little cookie cooked. So let's take this next one, and then we'll see what happens. Unless this one wakes me up. Coming up to stream is Eric. Eric is calling in to talk from Missouri to talk about topic number 1, the Iran war being unjustified. Eric, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
What's up? I can hear you. I am 27. I live in Missouri, grew up in Alaska. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what are your pronouns, Eric?
Pronouns? I'm a guy. Is he, him?
There you go.
Oh, man.
All right, Eric.
Pronouns.
To begin the conversation, I believe the Iran war is unjustified because the stated reason for the war is that Iran was a nuclear threat. However, Iran was not building nuclear weapons and had not reinstated its nuclear weapons program. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
Oh, buddy. You don't think that they wanted him to create? Bro, they said that they were. They said that they were doing that. But
No, they did
back
not.
in 2017.
No, they
okay,
did
I can
not.
show you the clip where it says that they're advocating for their right to have nuclear weapons.
They did not.
You think they just pivoted and changed their fucking?
I think Iran
Okay,
got
but
rid
I
of
can
its
show you
nuclear
where
weapons program in 2003, and it has not reinstated that nuclear weapons program since 2003.
Let me ask you this: are you Muslim? Yes
No.
or no? Or have you read the Quran?
What does that have to do with?
That it says it says to strike next to the non-believers, bro. Like they want
I don't
America out.
care.
So anyways, you should though, because they're all run by these people that believe this. Now, I'm not here to have a religious debate. The thing is that
I'm sorry. I don't want to get into the weeds of you. I don't want to get into the weeds of this. Do you have any evidence Iran restarted its nuclear weapons program?
What do you mean restarted? Are you talking about when we struck them, the bunkers or whatever?
They stopped trying to produce nukes in 2003, and they've yet since 2003 to reinstate their nuclear weapons program. The United States did a threat assessment on them in 2005 and found that they had not restarted their nuclear weapons program. Here's the quote directly from Trump's own intelligence team. "We continue to assess Iran is not building a nuclear weapon and that Khamenei has not reauthorized the nuclear weapons program he suspended in 2003.
If you believe that,
do I believe Trump?
Believe that, man.
Do I believe Trump's intelligence community?
Listen, I don't necessarily believe Trump right now.
Okay,
either.
good thing I have other sources like the Arms Control Association, who said that Iran posed no nuclear threat, or the IAEA, who said that they had no proof of Iran building nuclear weapons, or the intelligence report that came out in. Hold on, or the intelligence report. I don't know why you're talking right now. I'm muting you, Eric. I don't know why you're speaking. This is just weird. I'm presenting you with actual evidence, and you're going, "You believe that? Oh, so you believe that? Oh, so you just believe that?" Eric, unless you can provide me actual counter evidence, your opinion means nothing.
What do you mean evidence, bro? Like you just go off of whatever you're told on the news. Like they probably already have nuclear weapons.
Prove
Iran
it.
Is not
Prove it, Eric. Prove it.
They have
Prove it.
money.
Prove it.
Okay,
Prove it.
Bro. You don't think
Prove
they
it.
have any nuclear
Prove
capability?
it.
And
Prove
if
it.
they did,
prove it.
Okay, so what's the problem?
Prove
with
it.
Having nukes then?
Prove
what's
it.
The problem?
Prove it.
You prove that they don't. You can't. You can't.
Oh, okay, great. I have the head of the International Atomic Agency, Energy Agency, saying there's. I have the head of the. I have the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency saying there's no proof of. Okay, so I'm muting you again. I don't know why we're talking about Palestine. We're talking about Iran. You fucking clown. Head of the International Atomic Energy Agency. There's no proof Iran is building weapons. Arms Control Association. Iran posed no nuclear threat. The U.S. threat assessment. Iran poses no nuclear threat. The fucking report that came out in the beginning of March, which said Iran had no plans of striking Israel or the U.S. Sorry, when I talk to people, Eric, I don't know if you were muted. Nobody could hear you, stupid. I don't know if you know this, Eric, but when I talk to people and they make a claim like Iran has nukes, you have to prove that. And then when you go, well, prove they don't, is the stupidest thing ever. Eric, prove unicorns don't exist.
They do, bro. I'm not saying
great.
They do.
If then they don't, so then there's no reason to attack them.
That it's not on their capability.
Wonderful. So there's no reason to attack them.
If it is or it isn't, why do you think that? Do you think that it would be a threat if they did have nukes?
No.
You don't think that? Okay.
No.
You think Israel's more of a threat, huh?
Do I think Israel is more of a threat to America? No. Is Israel more of a threat to other areas in the globe? Yes, 100%.
The problem with that, I don't know who's right? The problem is like, dude, you know that, like, okay, let's say this, right? Like, you go over to the Middle East. You know the one place you can go without being made example of if you are
India.
If you practice any of the things that we preach as human rights nowadays.
India.
If you're a woman and you don't wear a hijab, and if you're a man and you like other men.
What?
Excuse me. If you're a man and you're sexually attracted to other men, they will use you as an example, bro. And so all I'm saying, from a third party perspective, is if you go to the Middle East.
This is so
and you're
stupid.
plopped down in one of these countries.
This is so dumb.
If you go to Israel, they will just try to convert. They'll accept you for being Muslim. They're not
so
going to kill
stupid.
you on site.
What does this have to do with
now,
anything?
Are these people?
What does this have to do with anything?
The problem is this. The problem
What
is
does
this,
this have to do with anything?
It does have to do with something because
it doesn't.
I'm not practicing Judaism. I'm not practicing Muslim.
Good for you.
It's just I'm getting a sales call, bro. I'm sorry. I've been waiting for an hour, and now I'm getting another call.
You were waiting for 33 minutes, so that was a lie.
Is there any way that we can like read?
I don't know why you're lying about waiting for an hour. It tells me how long you were in the call queue. It was 33 minutes. 33 minutes, so that was a lie.
Yeah, that was my second one, bro. Like, I've been in here for fucking ever.
Sure you have.
My comments go, all right, bro,
and this is what you came in with?
Like, I'm not lying.
And this is what you came in
what
with?
I'm trying to say is I'm trying to get you to exercise your mind. Okay,
no, you're not. Look, you're trying to get me to believe in something with no evidence. That's what you're trying to do. That's not an exercise in the mind. You know what that is? Do you know what that is? That's muted. That's not an exercise in the mind. That's an exercise in you being stupid. That's what that is. That's what that is. It's not an exercise in the mind to believe in something with no evidence. Goodbye. By the way, Euro's dumbass came in here and be like, well, look, Iran admitted in 2005 that they had received plans. Yes, they received those plans in 1980 and 1990. Before they suspended their nuclear weapons program. You fucking clown. Yo, Euro, you're so stupid, bro. Why don't you read any of the things you talk about, Euro? Just for 1 second, read. Like, truthfully. Why don't you just read something? It would be so simple if you read something. Here, wait, I'm going to just read for you because I know you didn't read, Euro. The Ahmad Plan, which is widely referenced by Western intelligence agencies, the IAEA, and non-proliferation analysts, has a covert Iranian nuclear weapons-related program active primarily from 1999 to 2003. Can you read, Euro? Or no, you can't read. Euro, call in. I won't mute you one time. Call in and prove it. You can't. You, like the caller, have no evidence. Euro's career peaked with that debate? No, dead ass, bro. Peaked. Swear to God. Barbara, I know you sent that Cash App, but I booted him earlier. Spencer, thank you for the Venmo. Said Jovan has so much Riz. He's got Euro feeling a certain way. Crazy. Katie Ironfist, thank you for the super chat. Euro wants to be Jovan so bad. I'm surprised he hasn't made a cosplay yet. Euro's going to go full... what's the motherfucker's name? I even turned the call-in line back on. Just for Euro. He won't do it. He's too much of a fucking pansy. Are you afraid to debate me on stream? This would be debating you on stream, stupid. What are you talking about? Euro, you can't be considered a YouTuber. With 94... Let's go look at your viewership and let's see if you're a YouTuber. Hold on. Let's do it, chat. Let's do it. Hold on. Let's take a look. Euro's last stream. Okay. These are his videos. His last video had 346 views, but he's a YouTuber. His last stream had 8.1k views, but he's a YouTuber. 2.1k views, but he's a YouTuber. But you're a YouTuber, aren't you, Euro? 4 comments. You're definitely a YouTuber. Damn, Euro. You are definitely a YouTuber. Definitely. Big yikes. No, Euro, the reason you want to stream together face to face is you want the viewership. It's not how that works here, bud. I'm not giving you clout. So if you want to debate, call in. But I'm not about to give you clout because you're trying to get the clout so much. Did I miss some super chats? Let me see. There it is. Yeah. If there was a life sim game that was based on a communist economy over capitalist one, what would you like to see in it? That exists already. Kinda. Isn't that like what you essentially Stardew Valley? Like after a certain point, Stardew Valley becomes get rid of evil capitalism simulator. I don't have any evidence that Euro is buying followers. I don't have any evidence that he isn't. And I guess if we're playing their game about Iran, prove you don't buy followers then. Let's see how many views my last lives had. Oh, I don't know because I private them. So I guess I wouldn't actually know. Because I private them after the fact. Yesterday's had 19K. That was just a random Monday. Billy said he'd pay Euro $100 to call in. That's crazy. Nah, don't do it. Don't do it, Billy. Do you think he already pieced out of the chat? He probably already pieced out. No, he's still watching because he's a fan. He's a fan, so of course he's still watching. Ugh. Ugh. Now you get it, Jovan. Hey, Billy, thank you for the $100 super chat. How much did my fact check video of Euros of that debate get up to in views? Wait, let me see. I don't know. I post more than Euros, so my videos actually get views. So let's go back to that video. Damn, 20,000 views on just the fact check of you, Euro. That's crazy. When the fact check gets more views, no deadass. You know how many views his fact check that I responded to got? Wait. His fact check had 700 views. My response to that 700 view video had 20,000 views. Please. That's light work on I just saw one of the videos that I posted of me and Ari had like 35K views the other day. Anyway. Who do we have on the line? God, let me go get water. Maybe that'll help me. Let me just go get some water real quick. And that might help with the downy right now. The down. I'll keep going. Fuck it. Fuck it, we ball. Coming up next to stream is Dave. Dave is calling from New York to talk about MAGA being uneducated. Dave, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hey, I just need 10 seconds here. Sorry, messing around with something. You said it takes gas and oil? All right, all right, thank you. Hey, Jovan. My name's Dave. Did you say age and pronoun?
Yep.
33 years old, he, him. How are you?
Chilling, Dave. I'm chilling. Now, Dave, it looks we might not have much disagreement. I know you're calling about topic 5. If I'm reading this correctly, you used to support Trump. You're no longer a Trump supporter. Is that correct?
He's flawed. He's got some issues. I was strong in the beginning in 16 because he was coming out hot as he wanted to change the world, but now he's backing off a lot of the things that he originally said he was going to do. So he's very much being a turncoat, and it's disappointing.
Okay. Well, Dave, I believe that Trump, MAGA voters tend to be uneducated. They are uneducated in terms of political policy, both foreign and domestic. They don't know the effects of those policies and how they are the larger effects those policies have on people. And the Trump supporters that do, they're just bad people because they support those policies, even though they largely hurt society. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
It's not that I disagree, but it's a stereotype that could be just on the opposite side of the coin for liberals and Democrats. Where usually the person that's the most obnoxious is the one that gets highlighted the most. So you can take the most obnoxious Republican, and that's going to be the stereotype that gets broadcasted out for everybody to see as, look how horrible these people are. And you say,
well, I'm not talking about, just so you know, I'm not talking about like obnoxious people. I'm not even necessarily talking about stupid people. I'm just saying there are people who are uneducated in political policy.
It's on both sides, man. It really is.
I think it is overwhelmingly on the side of MAGA, because if it wasn't, they wouldn't have voted for Trump. Trump was very clear about the plans he wanted to do. We had plenty of people in both academia and science who said that the stuff he wanted to do would have negative effects, and it did. For instance, the reason we knew from his last leaving office, which caused OPEC to cut back on production and saw a direct spike in gas prices. But because those price increases hit us when Biden was in office, people blamed Biden instead of Trump. This is directly being politically uneducated. They didn't look at who implemented the policies to mess with gas. They just looked at, well, gas happened at this point, therefore it must be this person's fault.
So, and the gas issue is even crazier now because of the Iran war,
which Trump started.
So, and Trump did have some stuff where he said, we're not going to do any of these senseless wars anymore.
Yes, he lied.
We're going to get out of the senseless wars. And here we are going into Iran, which is a tough issue, but that's not.
But again, that's a weird one for me too, because why?
MAGA voters are uneducated.
They are.
There's high education levels on both sides.
Whoa.
Doctorate
hold on. Dave. I clarified for you what I meant by uneducated. I don't mean didn't go to college. I don't mean didn't graduate school. I don't mean any of that. I mean they are unaware of the effects of political policy, and the ones who are aware of the effects of political policy but support it anyway are just bad people.
But that also implies that if MAGA voters are uneducated because they don't pay attention to things, you could say the opposite for people who identify as either Democratic or liberal.
I disagree. I think for the most part, people on the left are. I disagree.
The loudest 10 or 15% of the Democratic
I'm not talking about
the MAGA Republican.
I'm not talking about the 10 or 15%. I'm talking about all of them.
But it's just a mass generalization that I disagree with.
Okay, I don't. Based on the facts, I don't disagree with it.
Okay. Just a simple thing that I think it's just difficult to lump at a small percentage as an entire group. Because I think most things exist on a spectrum.
I think again, Donald Trump told us what he was going to do through his last term and through his running of this. So people being surprised that Donald Trump is doing what he said he's doing, people are upset. Like, well, he said he was going to be anti-war. He struck a deal with the Taliban in his first term in office. What made you think he was going to be anti-war all of a sudden?
Yeah, that was a rough one. But one of the things he did come through on was the border.
He didn't actually.
They estimated, I think it was over 20. There's now a wall there, and the amount of people that are crossing illegally has drastically decreased.
We don't know what the number is because Donald Trump's not letting the real number through. Donald Trump says 0 people are crossing the border illegally. We know this is a lie. We know this is untrue. Second, Donald Trump is the reason the border was flawed during Biden's term to begin with, because Donald Trump convinced his Republicans in office not to vote for the Langford border bill, even though it would have done all the things they claimed they wanted to do. Also, are you driving right now?
But the border was yeah, I'm driving right now. Can you still hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, no, you can't be. It's a YouTube thing. I can't talk while you're driving. YouTube will
I'll
get me.
pull over.
No. Just call back when you're not driving. Just call back when you're not driving. Just call back when you're not driving. It's not that bad. It's not that thing. It's not that deep. Just call back when you're not driving. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. Also, people earlier in the YouTube chat were saying they don't want to come over to Twitch because of ads, but my Twitch should not have ads. Are you guys getting ads on Twitch? You should not get ads on my Twitch. I guess you get some ads. You shouldn't get a lot of ads. Let me rephrase. I have them set. You should only get one 15-second ad because that's the max they'll do. You should only be getting one 15-second ad an hour because I set it to the lowest possible thing I could. And on the flip side, YouTube should be running ads unless YouTube Premium is off. Look, I'm going to run an ad break right now. Insert an ad. Suck it. Did I just do a capitalism, bro? Did I just do a capitalism? Are you and Jimmy debating today? No. I mean, Jimmy's debating with Ari later. You guys should go watch that stream, but no, not me. Me, Forrest, and Matt will be doing Golden Mike on Friday, though, to raise money for RFR. Vertical stream has no ads. Don't tell YouTube that, because I think I'm still getting ad revenue on these streams. All right, let's bring the next person. No, John, I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about capitalism anymore. I feel like I've had multiple calls today about it. Every time I add it to the board, I get so bored of talking about it within John, call back tomorrow to talk capitalism when I'm more in the mood. It's got to be a new call. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Thank you, John. Office hours call. Faye over from the Twitch chat. We want to talk about the Voting Rights Act. Is that right, Faye? Can you drop your pronouns for us?
Yes, she, her. Can you hear me okay? I'm on my phone. I didn't know if it'd be better to be on speaker or off.
Yeah, we can hear. I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
All right, what's up, Faye? What was your question?
So I'm in Tennessee, and they just redrew our map. They had to change our state constitution to do it, and they gerrymandered out our last blue district that was primarily Black Americans. And in my state, I joined the local socialist community, and it's led by a Black leader, and I feel like a lot of local especially Black Americans are really angry at white leftists, and they have leftist ideology, right? But they don't want to use that term and prefer to say liberal, even though they believe in all the same things we do. And it's really hard to bring our community together unless we start with a lot of them are angry because they say, a lot of white leftists come to them and say, well, the left starts at anti-class, at class. And it starts at anti-racism because we wouldn't have class specifically in this country if it wasn't for white supremacy. And I just wondered your thoughts on that. I've heard you speak on it before, and I thought that I had that correct too from your thoughts, specifically in America, not other countries.
Can you just phrase it again so that I understand what the specific question is? I got a little lost.
Sorry. I didn't know how to bring we have to in Tennessee, unfortunately, leftists have to work with a lot of Democrats to get things done. And they don't want to really take the leftist title, even though they have our ideology, right? And I don't know how to speak to other Black Americans, or even if I should about that, because I'm white, and the leader of my party, my socialist local community, is a Black American, and they are really frustrated at us saying as white leftists that the left starts at anti-class instead of anti-racism. And I wondered if you thought that was right.
Boom. Hello, chat. Can you hear me now? There, we should be good. Wavelength just had an update in the middle of stream, and it kicked me out of the system. So, can you hear me now? Wait, hello? Wait, you can? Oh my God, dude. Okay. There we go. It's all working. What the fuck? Okay, there we go. That was so weird. My system just like shit itself. Let's try to see if we can get Faye back. That'll probably be the last call for the day. Remember, tomorrow I'll be on with Dalton and Blitz at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're doing a theism board. Friday we'll be doing, well, Friday I gotta get my haircut, but after my haircut is gonna be the Garten of Bonbon stream, as long as it's not too late. If it's too late, I'm just not gonna do it. And then Friday night is Golden Mike. Saturday is the RFR fundraiser for the line. Jimmy, are we still doing did we ever pick a topic for the 3-person game? I don't remember if we chose a topic. We should probably choose a topic, shouldn't we? Or are we still doing that? Are we doing that on Saturday? I know me and Arden were excited to do it. I don't know if we decided we're still doing it. What else am I doing coming up here? I think that's it. Not yet. Like not yet. We didn't decide if we're doing it, or not yet. We didn't pick a thing. Dead air. I don't care. We have dead air on the stream all the time. I don't know if Winnie is still talking to Faye or not. Oh, I got water. I never drank it. Okay, there we go. Faye's back. Let's bring Faye back to finish our conversation. All right, Faye. Sorry about that. My audio system decided to update while we were talking, so my apologies. Faye, can you hear me? Oh, shit. Hello? Oh, shit. Let me reload this real quick.
You are connected as the host.
Okay.
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
Okay, Faye, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right. No, it's not your fault. My audio system went kaputski. So that's all on me.
And I was getting like lost in the sauce of when I wanted to ask you a little bit.
I wrote down what I think you were asking. So just let me know if this is correct. How do you bring Democrats over to the side of leftists, even though they maintain similar ideologies?
Yes, especially when they're very angry at specifically like us white leftists.
Well,
which I understand why they are. So
yeah. So one, I don't think liberals and leftists really fight for the same thing. Socially, we tend to, right? But economically, we don't fight for the same thing at all. Like, right? They want to maintain capital and capitalism. We don't. How do we get them to our side? I don't know. I found just like opening up the dialogue. I think it does really nobody a good service when we just play the "it's your fault, liberals, it's your fault, leftists," blah blah blah. I don't think that serves much of a purpose in the long run. But like essentially, the way we get Democrats onto where the leftists are is you have to hold Democrats to a better standard. So, you know, we don't voted. I don't know if you watched the stream where I had Marielana Kinter on, but I didn't let Marielana off. Like, if she said something that I disagreed with,
Oh
like,
yeah, I watched
like the
it.
abolition of police, like I pushed and I said, hey, this is what we're talking about. This is what, and she was like, oh no, actually, when you talk about it like that, I'm more in favor of it. So I think that's how we do it. We have to stop voting in like money bag Democrats and more move towards, you know, what was I saying? You get what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, and also my problem was with like I agree with like I said, the leadership of my local socialist party, that is, because we don't have communist parties here. I wish we did, but I'm in Tennessee, so I mean I'm sure we do somewhere, but not where I've tried to find one. But it's like they're anti-capital, right? So they're not capitalists, and they have our identity with that. They just don't like white leftists or the leftist title, because they come at them with its anti-class first instead of anti-racism.
Yeah.
And I said, and specifically in America, I'm not talking about any other country, that we have class because of white supremacy. And that's kind of what I've been taught and kind of what I've heard you say before. Like, you know, that's a lot of where our capitalistic ideas come from, you know. Was that wrong?
I mean, I would say that white supremacy is a byproduct of capitalism, but it's not like I believe you could still have class in capitalism even if you got fully rid of white supremacy. White supremacy is just a useful tool for capitalism.
Okay. I just wanted to know how to explain, and I'm not going to obviously, you know, go at them and like have their, I just wanted to have a better way to explain it so they don't get so angry, because they are anti-capital. It's just they feel like you can't, like it's a lot of racism coming from leftists, and I've seen it myself, white leftists specifically, and I get really disappointed.
Well, I think most white
well,
leftists just have a hero complex. They just want to lead the revolution, but they don't
I
realize
think
that
we do
they can't do
too.
that.
I mean, yeah, I'm disabled, so I'm kind of in a minority in that way, and I think that until you are in an experience that's even similar, it's not similar, you know, but kind of similar, you don't realize how privileged people are and how privileged they are with what they say. So thank you, Jovan. I just wanted a way to explain that. That makes better sense. I didn't know how to say it correctly, and I didn't want to say anything that would be wrong or misconstrued by any of my friends, you know.
For sure.
So thank you, and I hope they quit gerrymandering people, because it's really awful, and we should get to vote like Virginia did. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court overturned it, but we should get to vote on that, and blue states should vote.
I agree.
So thank you so much, and I love your streams, and your mods are amazing and great with disabled people. So I just wanted to let you know that you have a great community.
Well, thank you, Faye. Thank you so much, and thank you for being a part of it.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, that's all we got for today. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Full Theist board with the boys, Blitz and Dalton. Bradley Blitz and the Bible guy. That's a funny thing. I'll see you guys then. It's been fun. Let's see if there was any super chats I missed before we peace out. Just to double check. Can you give this to Jimmy for fixing your mic? No. 49 Perfect said it's hilarious that Euro has been taken down to just following you around and begging for interaction because he has no charisma himself to draw a crowd. True. Armfro said Euro has less viewership than my old. Oh, Euro just privated that video that I was talking shit about. So remember how I was like, oh, if you go to Euro's most recent stream, his most recent stream has like 2,000 views or whatever it was. He just made it private so that the very first one is a stream from yesterday that has 20,000. How embarrassing do you have to be, dude? How embarrassing. And I know that he privated it because wait. Here's what we'll do. Let me go pull up the stream where I pulled up that video on Euro's page. Yep, here it is. Hold on. Yeah, it's gone. He took it down. What a fucking slime ball, dude. Okay, look. Let me show you. You guys want to see how Euro's a goddamn slime ball? So here's earlier from this stream today where I was looking at Euro's stream, and you'll notice right here, the very first one, let me get the quality, right? I click onto his lives. Very first one streamed 19 hours ago. It's cut off here, but it only had like a couple thousand views. Now when you go to Euro's page, okay? So now when you go to his page, let me pull it up. Where's that video, Euro? It's gone. Because I talked shit about it, so he privated it. What a fucking... Brother, there's no way he did that. There's like actually no way he did that, dude. That's so embarrassing, bro. That's so fucking embarrassing, dude. Like, it's the most embarrassing shit I've ever seen another man do. How? Yo. Yeah, that is why he went quiet, because he was doing that. Wow, he's an embarrassing human being. All right, guys, I'm out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you guys on the flip. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Goodbye.